Chapter 91 Zhao Feng's background is presented to Ying Zheng. Happy New Year. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Start the memorial, Your Majesty. The general has returned triumphantly. In addition to the generous reward, the marriage that the king once proposed to Princess Yang may also be settled. Xuanhuan stood up and started playing with a smile. This move seems random. In fact, it was meant to show favor to Wang Jian. As a staunch supporter of the eldest son Fusu, he used Yang's proposal to marry Wang Bai as a guide, and then mentioned Wang Jian's daughter's proposal to marry Fusu. Just succeed, Fusu can have powerful military relatives. Not only is he the eldest among the young masters, he is also the natural successor. It is also possible to have a general as a supporter. This is naturally a great thing for Fusu. After all, in the court, with Xuanhuan present, most of the old nobles supported Fusu. It's just that military power has always been difficult to get hold of. Ying Zheng was also very taboo about this, but this time the rumor spread and became more and more intense. Ying Zheng didn't say much and obviously acquiesced. What Xianbang said is absolutely true. Liang, Gu's second daughter, is also Gu's most beloved daughter. Wang Ben, my brave general of Great Qin. A match made in heaven. Ying Zheng laughed and directly agreed to Xuanhuan's proposal, and he had already promised to give Princess Yang to Wang Ben as his wife, but now he was just fulfilling his promise. Great King Xingming. Princess Yang is now 13 years old. If the wedding date is decided by the servant in a year, the Qin dynasty, will be even more happy. Xuanhuan praised loudly. Great King Xingming. The ministers standing on the square also shouted. Start the memorial, Your Majesty. It will be a great joy for Princess Yang to marry General Wang Ben. However, I have another happy birthday. At this moment, Right Prime Minister Wei Xiang stood up with a smile on his face. In today's Great Qin, since Lu Buwei was deprived of his official position in the past, the position of Prime Minister is no longer held by one person, but by two. Ying Zheng established the left and right prime ministers. The prime minister on the left is Xuanhuan, the right phase is in the shape of Wei. The left prime minister is still called the companion, the right prime minister is the deputy, and the prime minister Wei also holds the position of chief servant. What happy event does Prime Minister Wei have to announce? That this time Wang Jian returned. Ying Zheng was also very happy, and naturally had a smile on his face. As far as I know, General Wang Jian has a daughter who is in her prime. Her age is just right for the eldest son. My proposal. Happiness upon happiness. Your Majesty, you can marry the general's daughter and Mr. Fusu. Wei Zhuang smiled and said loudly, visible, the left and right prime ministers in the court were all staunch supporters of Fusu. The two of them can be said to be in harmony. Hear this. No matter how much Fusu didn't understand, he understood at this moment that this was Wei Zhuang trying to attract foreign aid to him. Fusu did not refuse the proposal, but stood up directly. My son has joined the government. I have heard for a long time that the general's daughter is not inferior to her husband. It would be my great fortune to marry the general's daughter. Fusu bowed and said loudly, born into a royal family, still the eldest son. It would be a lie to say that Fusu had no interest in that position. Moreover, he has so many supporters in the court. Even if he does not fight, his supporters will push him to fight. If he embarks on this path, there will be no retreat. In history, Qin Shihuang did cultivate Fusu as his successor, but Fusu repeatedly disappointed him. In the end, even Qin Shihuang did not make him the crown prince until his death. It was not until his death that he left a posthumous edict for Fusu to succeed him. It seems that Qin Shihuang had no choice. Hear this, a look of excitement flashed between Ying Zheng's brows, but he did not make a decision directly, but looked at Wang Jian. But at this moment, Wang Jian's expression was a little hesitant and struggling. Looking at Ying Zheng beside him and at the many officials pushing this matter down the stairs, Wang Jian was full of struggle. At this moment, Wang En is indeed unlimited, but Ruruo refused. Not only did he secretly disobey the king's wishes, but he also offended Fusu, who took the initiative to marry Wang Yan. In today's Great Qin, everyone in the court knew that Fusu would most likely be the future crown prince. Now offend the future prince, the future heir apparent. This is definitely not a good thing for the Wang family, but when I think of Zhao Feng and his terrifying methods, I understand Zhao Feng's potential better. If Zhao Feng really kidnaps his bride and Qin doesn't allow it, Zhao Feng will definitely flee to another country, and then he will become the most difficult enemy for Qin to deal with. Your Majesty. Wang Jian turned around hesitantly and looked at Ying Zheng. General, just say whatever you want. No matter whether you agree or refuse, I will not blame you. Ying Zheng smiled slightly. Naturally, he saw the troubled look on Wang Jian's face. There is obviously some hidden meaning in it. Hear the sound. Wang Jian slowly walked up to Ying Zheng, bowed to Ying Zheng. To be honest with you, Your Majesty, my daughter has already committed to someone else. What the general said is not true. Since ancient times, parents have ordered matchmakers. A promise of love is not a betrothal. As long as the general agrees, this happy event can be achieved. Being the head wife of Mr. Fusu, I am afraid that countless women from all over the world will be interested in her. Wei Zhuang said with a smile. Good. Master Fusu is elegant, kind and wise, and he is a role model for other young masters. Looking at the world, there is no man who can compare with Master Fusu. General, it's better to make this marriage happen. Xuanhuan couldn't help but speak. Now there are many civil servants in the court who support Fusu, but they lack the support of military generals, and they still have the support of a general. If we can really get the support of military commanders, even if something goes wrong in the future, it can be smoothed over. Military power is king. Master Fusu is indeed very good. If my daughter does not have a romantic relationship with anyone else, I will strongly agree to it. But now, I really can't do this kind of thing of beating a mandarin duck. Wang Jian raised his head and faced Ying Zheng with a firm look on his face. As soon as these words fell, everyone also heard Wang Jian's resistance to the proposed marriage to Fusu. Even Xuanhuan and Wei Zhuang didn't know what to say at this moment. Fusu, who was standing in the square, was neither moving forward nor retreating, which was a bit embarrassing. Ying Zheng, on the other hand, didn't have much expression. But when he heard about the beating of the mandarin ducks, Ying Zheng's heart trembled and he seemed to be moved. At this moment, everyone's eyes were on Ying Zheng, even Wang Jian, because all the decisions lie with Ying Zheng. The next moment. Goo, I hate breaking up marriages most in my life. Ying Zheng spoke slowly, with strong disgust in his words. He glanced at the officials under the stairs, seeming to be warning. As soon as these words fell, Xuanhuan, Wei Shape, there are also some ministers of the clan. The ministers who had experienced this in the past were all frightened in their hearts at this moment. Naturally, they understood the hidden meaning of Ying Zheng's words. Your Majesty still remembers what happened back then. Xuanhuan and Wei Zhuang looked at each other with panic in their hearts. Thank you, Your Majesty. Wang Jian bowed to Ying Zheng, and deep down in his heart, Wang Jian also breathed a sigh of relief, because he understands, this marriage may not need to be settled, and the things he worries about will not happen again. At this moment, Wang Jian was also full of joy. The Wang family may not have to be involved in future disputes over the heir apparent, although the eldest son Fusu has a high chance of winning. The Qin dynasty has not always had to establish eldest officials, and may also establish virtuous ones. Everything depends on the holy will of the current king, but if this marriage is decided, then the Wang family was passively tied to Fusu's worship, which was inconsistent with Wang Jian's desire to avoid competing for the heir apparent. Struggle for reserves. Once failed, both sides will be liquidated. Wang Jian didn't want to do it at first, but because of Ying Zheng, now Wang Jian is completely relieved. I'm very curious, who is the general's daughter's crush on? To be able to catch the general's eye, he must not be an ordinary person. Ying Zheng smiled, looked at Wang Jian and asked. Your Majesty. The king has heard of this man's name before. Wang Jian smiled slightly. Have you heard the name alone? Ying Zheng was slightly startled, then he glanced at the hundreds of officials. Still have no idea who it is. Then I'm very curious. Ying Zheng smiled slightly. This time our Qin dynasty used troops against South Korea and succeeded in destroying South Korea. Who is the person that the king saw the most in the battle report? Wang Jian did not say it directly, but gave it a try. Zhao Feng. Ying Zheng thought of it immediately. Great King Xingming. It's Zhao Feng. Wang Jian said immediately, and as soon as these words fell, the expressions of Xuanhuan and Wei Xiang also became more surprised, not only them, but also all the officials. When did Zhao Feng get involved with Wang Jian's daughter? Why have I never heard of it before? That's interesting. Many officials were thinking about it with the mentality of watching the fun. Zhao Feng has only been in the army for less than a year, how could he meet the general's daughter? Ying Zheng smiled slightly. Your Majesty. Speaking of which, maybe this is also the fate between the juniors. When the Baoyuan ambush troops hid in Yangqing for a surprise attack, the king must still remember this. To this end, he also reprimanded General Li for being greedy for credit and rashly advancing. It was also that time when the little girl led the troops to pursue them. However, because they had too few troops and did not have much battlefield experience, they were eventually surrounded by the Korean army led by Bao Yuan. At the critical moment, Zhao Feng rescued the little girl and beheaded her. Bao Yuan successfully destroyed this Korean army, Wang Jian said with a smile. Hear this, Ying Zheng understood instantly and said with a smile, it seems that the general's daughter and Zhao Feng have a true love in times of need. To be honest with you, Your Majesty, that's exactly what happened. If it were an ordinary person, I really wouldn't agree with this. But my little girl's life was saved by Zhao Feng. The two of them are in love, and I really can't bear to separate them. Wang Jian said immediately. Subsequently, Wang Jian turned around again, looked at Fusu at the bottom of the stairs, and bowed. Mr. Fusu, my daughter has already made up her mind, please forgive me for not being able to fulfill her wish. This is exactly what Wang Jian said. Fusu, who was frozen there, finally released his restraints. Fusu still had a smile on his face, cupped his fists and said, Fusu didn't know about this before, but Fusu was abrupt. Don't blame me, General. How can I be surprised? Wang Jian said repeatedly. Father. Since the general's daughter has settled in love, and my son is not the kind of person who tries to break up another person's marriage, the discussion between the two prime ministers is over. Fusu immediately expressed his stance to Ying Zheng. After hearing this statement, Ying Zheng also nodded in agreement. It's good that you know, Fusu. What I hate most in my life is to break up my marriage. But you have reached the age, and you should be engaged and married. Tingwei. Ru Ruogu remembers it well. Your eldest daughter is about the same age as Fusu. Li Si was shocked by the sudden roll call. Hearing Ying Zheng's words, Li Si stood up quickly. Report to the king. My eldest daughter is indeed of the same age as the eldest son. Li Si replied immediately, but there was not much happiness on his face. In this way. Then I'll make the decision for you. Your eldest daughter is engaged to Fusu, so the servant will choose a good and auspicious day. Ying Zheng smiled and immediately settled. This. Li Si's expression changed, Fusu's expression also changed, and he immediately stood up. Father, my son is only 14 years old and is still young. We can discuss the marriage later. To this, Xuanhuan and Wei Zhuang, who originally supported Fusu's marriage, did not speak, but instead showed a melancholy look on their faces. Above the court, the battle between the old aristocracy and the new aristocracy, although it hasn't turned into a dire situation, it's almost there. It would not be a good thing if Li Si's daughter married Fusu. Certainly, the same goes for Lis. Will his daughter marry Fusu? What is this? He is a legalist and advocates advocating legalism to govern the country, which conflicts with Fusu's philosophy of governing the country. Moreover, he is also the leader of the upstarts. He has always been competing with Xuanhuan and others, and they have many secret conflicts. Isn't Lieutenant Ting unwilling? Ying Zheng frowned and looked at Li Si. Feeling Zheng's gaze, Li Si was frightened in his heart and bowed hurriedly. How dare I disrespect the king's edict? Fusu. The daughter of Tingwei is gentle and generous. She is a good woman. This marriage is settled. Ying Zheng looked at Fusu again and made a final decision, not giving Fusu a chance to go back on his words. Father. Fusu wanted to say something, but Xuanhuan behind him tugged on Fusu's clothes and signaled him to stop talking. His master Chen Yue also immediately winked and signaled Fusu not to collide again. "Servant," Ying Zheng said loudly. "I'm here." Wei Zhuang stood up immediately. "It's winter now, Yingchuan has been decided, and it still needs to be managed. The national strength has also been greatly depleted after this war, so this year will be the end of it. You choose a good and auspicious day for Fusu and Tingwei's daughter to get married next year." Ying Zheng said solemnly. Wei Zhao bowed. "I accept the imperial edict." "The king's edict has been finalized, there are no changes this time." "Tingwei." "Fusu." "You don't accept the imperial edict." Ying Zheng looked at Li Si and Fusu. Under the power of the king, the two of them had their own thoughts, but they could only suppress them and bowed. "I accept the imperial edict." Ying Zheng was not angry because Wang Jian refused to marry him. "Today is the day of the general's triumphal return. I should drink with the general." After the court meeting, the general went to Zhangtai Palace to have a drink with Gu, and also told Gu about all the military affairs. Ying Zheng laughed, and then took Wang Jian's hand and walked towards the main hall. "The meeting begins." Zhao Gao immediately shouted loudly. The civil and military officials under the stairs walked towards the court meeting hall with their own moods. Now, Li Si, Fusu, even Xuanhuan and the others were in a bad mood, which could be seen on their faces, in the main hall. "Meng Yi has gone to Yingchuan to take up his post. The governance of Yingchuan makes me feel at ease. But winter is about to come, and the severe cold is coming. Countless people in the Qin dynasty and even all the countries in the world will die due to the severe cold every winter. For Yingchuan, everything is in ruins and many people are still displaced. This matter will be even more serious." Ying Zheng sat on the throne and said very seriously. "Start the memorial, Your Majesty. I have ordered that we go all out to make charcoal, and there is still a lot of charcoal in the treasuries of various places that can be mobilized." Feng Jia immediately stood up and reported loudly. "Except for what we use in Daqin, we will send all the excess to Yingchuan County." Ying Zheng immediately made a decision. Although Yingchuan has returned to Korea, and millions of people have returned to Korea, but Ying Zheng naturally still gives priority to the local people of Great Qin. After all, deep in his heart, the people of Old Qin are currently the foundation of Great Qin's strength. As for the people of those included territories, it will take time for them to completely surrender. "I understand." Feng Jie responded immediately. "I'm afraid it's not enough to rely on Daqin's charcoal. I thought that I could send an edict to Meng Yi to cut down more trees and distribute them to the people, so as to avoid the suffering of the severe cold. In addition, we need to allocate grain and grass to Yingchuan." Wei Liao suggested. "Yes." Ying Zheng nodded. The meeting is in progress. Basically, they all revolve around the management of Yingchuan, but this is under discussion. Among the officials, there are many people whose minds are destined to be uncertain. The palace. The servants in the entire mansion are busy cleaning and cleaning. The owner of this mansion has returned triumphantly, so how can the mansion not be busy? And in a palace in the mansion. Ugh, ugh. Wang Yan retched for a while and turned a little pale. After going on for quite a while, Wang Yan finally came over. "How come? It's only been one night." Wang Yan murmured to herself, with a look of disbelief on her face, and her hand gently caressed her belly. Although she is not as understanding as a married woman, she is still a woman after all and has heard many things about pregnancy before, but this time she had retching for many days and had difficulty eating and drinking. Wang Yan naturally understood what happened to her. "What can I do? If you let Dad know, Zhao Feng will be in danger. Moreover, when he comes back this time, the king will definitely propose marriage. If we are really accused of being married, then I will be pregnant and my Wang family will be finished. Dad has already entered the palace. What if the king proposes a marriage to me?" That at this moment, Wang Yan was extremely panicked and didn't know what to do. On the one hand, he was afraid that Zhao Feng would be implicated in this matter, and on the other hand, he was also afraid that his family would be implicated. Wang Yan was also in a dilemma. "If I die, maybe this will be the end of it. Now, a decisive thought suddenly appeared in Wang Yan's mind. The moment I had this idea, bang bang bang, a crisp knock on the door sounded outside the room. Yener. What are you doing in your room all day? Your father is coming back soon, why don't you come out yet? Wang's voice sounded outside the house, also with a sense of helplessness. Since Wang Yan returned home, she basically didn't go out and stayed in her yard and house. Coming. Wang Yan responded, and then looked down at her belly. The thought she had just now was suppressed by her. If she died, wouldn't it mean one body and two lives? Subsequently, Wang Yan opened the door. Wang walked in slowly, took a look in the room, and then said, "Why do you think you are staying in the room every day? You have been back for so long." "Mother. I don't want to go out." Wang Yan replied softly. "Come on. Follow your mother to the palace and wait. Your father should be back soon." Mrs. Wang smiled at this time. "Aunt." A crisp voice sounded outside the room, then a little boy about 4 or 5 years old ran in and hugged Wang Yan's feet. "Lear." Wang Yan smiled slightly, squatted down, and gently picked up the little boy. Obviously, this little boy is Wang Jian's eldest grandson and Wang Ben's son, Wang Li, according to historical records, but now he is just a 5-year-old boy. This was born to Wang Ben's wife. However, after giving birth to Wang Li, Wang Ben's wife also died of hemorrhage during childbirth. In this era, giving birth means half of the body enters the gate of hell. If you are not careful, you will die in childbirth. Therefore, after Wang Li was born, his grandmother had always carried him, and Wang Yan also carried him on weekdays. "Aunt. Why don't you play with Lear?" Wang Li looked at Wang Yan with an unhappy expression, feeling very aggrieved. "Auntie is feeling a little uncomfortable these days. When Aunt gets better, I'll stay with Lear." Wang Yan said gently. "Yener. You've been depressed since you came back. Tell your mother what's going on. It's not a good thing that you keep it in your heart." Mrs. Wang looked at Wang Yan with a worried look. For this daughter, Mrs. Wang loves her husband Wang Jian very much. "Mom, I'm fine." Although Wang Yan was confused inside, she was still very calm on the surface. "Okay, let's go to the palace and wait for your father." Seeing this, Wang didn't ask any more questions, took Wang Yan's hand and walked out of the room, inside Zhangtai Palace. Ying Zheng and Wang Jian sat opposite each other. Although the general did not personally lead the attack this time, all the planning and deployment of troops went through the general. "What do you think, General, of the land of Yingchuan?" Ying Zheng asked with a smile. "Since the king took office, he has been eroding Han's national power. It is not difficult to destroy Han. At the end of the day, this time I have gained the respect of the king, and I have gained this military exploit in vain." Wang Jian replied with a smile. Ying Zheng smiled slightly, poured a bottle of wine for Wang Jian, and poured another bottle for himself. Wang Jian immediately picked up the wine bottle. In the past, the general came to his rescue in times of crisis. I will always remember that. You. Too modest, too cautious. It's too easy to see Gu Qingqing. Ying Zheng said with deep meaning. Wang Jian's hand holding the wine bottle trembled a little, and he said hurriedly, "I don't dare." "What do you think of your future son-in-law?" Ying Zheng asked with a smile. "This son. He is a capable general and an even more capable general. After several years of training in the army, I will definitely become the assistant of Great Qin." Wang Jian said immediately. He. Ying Zheng smiled. "I know General Gu, but you have never praised Wang Ben so highly. It seems that Zhao Feng is really unique. Don't say anything else. Based on Zhao Feng's character and responsibility, I gave him a high look." Wang Jian said with a smile. "Gu Dao is very curious, please tell me." Ying Zheng became interested. Seeing this, Wang Jian directly told Zhao Feng about his confession that he was in love with Wang Yan that day, but he ignored Zhao Feng's threat and his display of power beyond ordinary people. After listening, Ying Zheng's eyes flashed with surprise and praise. This Zhao Feng is a responsible man. So, I dared to reject Prince Fusu's marriage proposal, not only for my daughter, but also because I didn't want to break up this pair of lovers. I hope the king will not blame me. Wang Jian said immediately. I said it. Any king would do something to break up a marriage, but I won't. Although the general didn't experience what happened back then, haven't you heard about it? Ying smiled lightly and drank the wine in the wine jar. Wang Jian was stunned, then he thought of something. I did hear about what happened back then, but it has been so many years, and I thought the king had forgotten it. Forget it? Haha. How can I forget it? Ying Zheng sneered, but he didn't say anything more. General, finish this pot of wine with me, and then you can go back to the mansion. I guess your wife and daughter are waiting. Ying Zheng smiled slightly. I obey your order. Wang Jian would naturally not refuse. After drinking, Wang Jian bid farewell. Ying Zheng sat back on the throne and reviewed the memorials. What do you think of Wang Jian's refusal to marry? That while reviewing, Ying Zheng suddenly asked. Reply to the king. The general is a smart man, so he naturally does smart things. What the general said about his daughter's engagement should be true, but the key is that the general does not want to be involved in the royal family at all. Once the general is engaged to Prince Fusu, he will be forced to stand on the side of Prince Fusu. That I don't know when. Dun Roa came to the front of the hall and replied very calmly. The carving knife in Ying Zheng's hand paused, then looked at Dun Roa, and his voice sank. Do you think that I will not make Fusu the prince? As soon as the voice fell, Dun Roa immediately knelt down. I dare not speculate on the king's intentions. The matter of the crown prince can only be decided by the king. Zhao Feng, have you checked it out? Ying Zheng retracted his gaze and asked calmly. Replying to the king, it has been investigated. Dun Roa replied immediately. Read it. Ying Zheng said in a deep voice, then he began to review the memorials. Zhao Feng. He is from Shacun County, Sha Village. There are 3 people in his family. A mother and a sister. At this point, Ying Zheng paused with his carving knife, but the next sentence. His father's name is Zhao De, a first-class noble, who died in a battle on the border between our Qin and Zhao more than 10 years ago. Zhao Feng inherited his father's land. The little wave in Ying Zheng's heart dissipated instantly. Dun Roa loudly reported all the details of Zhao Feng. The above is all about Zhao Feng. I can confirm it. Zhao Feng has no possibility of being a spy for other countries, let alone being trained by other countries. His combat power is strong, perhaps because he is gifted and powerful. The reason why he was assigned to the logistics army is because Zhao Feng hides his incompetence. The reason is that Zhao Feng and his sister are twins, and their vitality was lost during childbirth. His mother is weak and sickly. Zhao Feng wants to go home to take care of his mother to fulfill his filial piety. P.S. Please follow me, please recommend me, and please vote for me monthly. I am very grateful. I wish my brothers and sisters a happy new year, good luck in everything, and peace and health for their families. Chapter 92 Ying Zheng, he is a man who values filial piety. You are listening at novelfull.audio. And later. The king is also aware of Zhao Feng's situation. When the logistics army was burying the body, in order to save his subordinate Bai Jiang, he killed Bao Yuan's son. After stationed outside Yangqing, Bao Yuan made a sneak attack. In a life-and-death situation, Zhao Feng had to face a powerful enemy. Only then was he able to stand out in our great Qin army, and was transferred to the main battle camp by the general. With this follow-up with meritorious deeds. Dun Roa reported respectfully. After listening to this, Ying Zheng smiled slightly, without any anger. He is a man of great filial piety. This son is also straightforward. This guy really values love and justice. And extremely kind. I'm here to investigate. After being transferred to the main battle camp, whenever there is a war, I will rush to the front and take the lead. In bloody battles, countless warriors will also be grateful for their survival. Even after the war ended, Zhao Feng went into the wounded soldiers' camp to rescue and treat the wounded soldiers, reviving many seriously injured soldiers. He said weakly and supplementarily, as the most secret person in charge of the Qin dynasty, Haibingtai, he is naturally deeply trusted by Wang En and also knows Ying Zheng very well. This time Ying Zheng valued Zhao Feng, so he naturally told the truth. So it seems. There is no need to worry about Zhao Feng's origin. This child can be reused. Ying Zheng said slowly. After Zhao Feng succeeded in breaking the capital and capturing the king, Ying Zheng ordered Dan Ruo to investigate Zhao Feng's origins and details with all his strength. After all, we are in Daqin, civil servants may be foreign guests, but a person in charge of military power must not be from another country. Military power, the origin of cholera. What the king said is absolutely true. Dan Ruo respectfully agreed. Subsequently, then he said in a tentative tone, "Are you going to arrange ears and eyes for Zhao Feng?" Ying Zheng didn't say anything, just gave him a weak look. "I understand." After a weak bow, he understood instantly. "Back off." Ying Zheng stopped talking and waved his hand. "I excuse myself." Dan Wei retreated respectfully. "Wait until he leaves," Ying Zheng shouted outside the palace, past the imperial edict. The palace door opens. Zhao Gao quickly bowed into the hall and knelt in front of Ying Zheng. Vice-General Zhao Feng has made great contributions to the country, but his mother has no one to take care of her in the countryside. He gives her a craftsman to build a mansion for her, 50 slaves, 100 gold, 10,000 coins, and a ginseng plant that will last for 50 years. "Young master, please give it as soon as possible," Ying Zheng said slowly. Subsequently, he handed an edict that had been written long ago to Zhao Gao. Zhao Gao quickly climbed over and respectfully held Wang Zhao up. "This slave accepts the imperial edict," Zhao Gao said immediately, then he quickly retreated. Inside Zhangtai Palace, only Ying Zheng was left. Wang Jian. A smart man indeed. Fusu, we can't hope alone after all. I hope this marriage grant can make Li Si change you. If not, you will be doomed to fail if Wang Wan and the others carry you away. Ying Zheng murmured to himself, with a look of disappointment towards Fusu in his eyes, and at this moment, Fusu Mansion. "Prince Prime Minister, what should we do now? Li Si has always had political disagreements with me. He has always ruled the country with strong laws, while I value benevolence. He is destined not to be my helper. But now my father has forced Li Si's daughter to marry me." Fusu, he said with a sad face. Fusu was already angry about the marriage announcement in court today. "Son. The king's edict cannot be violated. Now the deal is done and cannot be changed." Wang Wan also sighed. "Can I just wait to marry Li Si's daughter?" Fusu was still unwilling. "Who dares to violate the king's holy will? What a pity. Wang Jian is so smart and knows how to assess the situation. If he had not rejected the young master's marriage proposal, the king would not have appointed Li Si's daughter." Wang Wan said with a depressed look. The original proposal of marriage was to win Wang Jian over to Fusu, but unexpectedly, it turned out to be Li Si, and Li Si, he is destined not to be Fusu's assistant, not only because of political differences, but also because of the conflict between the old aristocrats and the new aristocrats. If you compare Qin and the world to a big cake, the king rules the world. The authority under that needs to be divided among the ministers. The old nobles want their people to fight for it, and the same is true for the new nobles, struggle for power and profit. This is how they compete. This is destined to be indivisible, a fight for power, life and death. Even if Li Si really married his daughter to Fusu, it would be impossible for him to be attached to Fusu, and even if Fusu married Li Si's daughter, it was impossible for him to value Li Si too much. This is a dead end. Then Zhao Feng is Wang Jian deliberately looking for an excuse. Wang Jian is really too stupid. Young master is the future crown prince of the country, and he actually refuses? Although Zhao Feng has made some achievements in the military, how can he be compared with the young master? A mere deputy general dares to argue with the young master. Chunyu said angrily at the side. In his opinion, this time, it was Zhao Feng who suddenly appeared and broke their good intention to gain military power for Fusu. This matter has passed. Wang Jian, he said the right words at the right time. He returned victoriously after making military achievements. The king is relying on him, so how could he blame him? Besides, the king still hasn't forgotten what happened back then. Xuanhuan said with a deep meaning. What happened back then? Fusu looked at him with a puzzled look on his face. That woman? Qin frowned. Didn't you hear the king say that the thing he hated most was forcibly breaking up other people's marriages? This is a warning to those who experienced what happened back then. Xuanhuan said with a rather sour tone. What woman? What happened back then? Fusu still looked puzzled. Why didn't he understand what Xuanhuan said? It's better for you not to know about this. With your character, it's not a good thing to know. Xuanhuan said seriously. Seeing this, Fusu didn't ask any more questions, but looked at Xuanhuan and said, Prime Minister Wang, what should we do now? Marry. Xuanhuan said a word heavily. Is there really no other way? Fusu still looked unwilling. The king's will cannot be violated. But it doesn't affect anything after you marry Li Si's daughter. Li Si still can't control what you want to do. You are just like marrying a concubine. Xuanhuan sneered. Hearing this, Fusu could only nod helplessly. What about Zhao Feng? This time, this person has ruined your plan to win over Wang Jian. We can't just let it go. Qin still looked angry. Fusu looked at Qin in surprise and said, what does this have to do with Zhao Feng? After all, they are in love with each other, so how can they ruin it? Young master. If there was no Zhao Feng, Wang Jian would be your father-in-law now, and the Lantian camp would become your arm. Can you bear it? Qin said angrily. I don't have such a small heart. Besides, this matter is indeed unexpected. Fusu replied calmly. Although he was also running for the position of the crown prince at the moment, he was not so narrow-minded, just such a thing, and he was the one who asked for it, but he blamed others. Fusu was not so narrow-minded. But Qin was still a little unwilling. In his heart, he still had a fluke. At this moment, he thought that if Zhao Feng broke off the engagement with the Wang family girl, Fusu would have a chance. Military power. This is the Real Foundation. Master Chun. No need to go too far. This time, you should think about facing Li Si in the future. Xuanhuan said slowly, interrupting Qin. Seeing this, Qin shut up, but looking at his expression, it was obvious that he was not ready to give up. Fusu was his disciple, and he should plan for the future of his disciple. Young master. This old minister heard something. Maybe it's good for us. Xuanhuan suddenly said. What did the Prime Minister hear? Fusu asked immediately. My lord, have you ever heard of Han Fei? Xuanhuan smiled. Fusu immediately replied, Han Fei is well known throughout the world. He is a real talent. Like Li Si, he studied under the great Xuanzi. It is said that compared with Li Si, he is more talented in the legal school. In the past, he was also deeply loved by the people in Han. It's a pity that the king of Han did not use his talent. Otherwise, it would not be so easy for my great Qin to destroy Han. My lord, you are right. Xuanhuan smiled. Why did the Prime Minister suddenly mention Han Fei? Fusu asked in confusion. Han Fei has now been imprisoned in prison. It is not an ordinary prison, but a prison specially imprisoned by the king himself. Not only that, in this prison, he is served with good wine and meat, not treated as a prisoner. It is said. The king once issued an edict to Wang Jian, saying that all these Han officials could die, but Han Fei could not die. Can't you see anything from now on? Xuanhuan smiled. Father is going to use Han Fei. Fusu understood immediately. That's right. Xuanhuan smiled, with a shrewd smile on his old face. Many people say that Han Fei is more talented than Li Si. If the king uses him, what will happen to Li Si, the leader of the new nobles in the court? If Han Fei can be used by the prince, what will the court be like in the future? Have you ever thought about it? Fusu was silent for a moment, with a thoughtful look on his face. Prime Minister Wang wants me to win over Han Fei for my use. Fusu said. That's right. Han Fei has great talent. As long as Han Fei is willing to surrender, the king will certainly use him. Han Fei will definitely have a place in the position of the 9 ministers in the future. If the prince can get this person, it will be like getting a helping hand. Xuanhuan said very firmly. Yes. Fusu nodded. Wait to leave at Chunyu's house. What do you want, Grand Master? A man came to Chunyu. Go do something for the eldest son, go to Yingchuan. The palace. The general is back. The housekeeper of the palace shouted. The whole palace was busy. The servants in the palace came to greet him. Wang Shi, Wang Yan, and Wang Jian's grandson Wang Li also walked out of the palace. Not long after, a carriage pulled by 3 horses arrived outside the palace. Wang Jian slowly got off the carriage. Master. Dad. Grandpa. 3 voices came from the gate of the mansion. Hearing the voice, Wang Jian smiled slightly and walked over slowly. Lear, let Grandpa hug you. Wang Jian squatted down and laughed. Wang Li was not afraid at all, but ran towards Wang Jian very affectionately. Haha. It's been almost a year since I last saw you. My Lear has grown a lot taller. Wang Jian laughed and picked up his grandson directly, then he walked into the mansion. When his eyes fell on Wang and Wang Yan, he smiled and said, Enter the mansion. Master. I have asked someone to prepare the meal. Wang said. Don't be so anxious. I ate a lot with the king in the palace before. I will eat later. Wang Jian smiled. Then he strode into the mansion. Wherever he passed, servants were kneeling in the mansion to welcome him. Wang Jian waved his hand and signaled them to get up. When they arrived at the main hall of the mansion, Wang Jian put Wang Li down and looked at Wang Yan. Under this strange look, Wang Yan was a little at a loss. Tell me about it. Wang Jian said. Tell, what? Wang Yan was nervous. Your military affairs. The affairs with Zhao Feng. Wang Jian said with a straight face. Dad, how did you know? Wang Yan's face changed and looked at him in surprise. Are you going to keep it a secret from me? If it weren't for Zhao Feng's boldness, I wouldn't even know it at all. Wang Jian said in a deep voice. He told Dad. Wang Yan said in a slightly surprised heart, she had never expected this. In this era, it is difficult to have childhood sweethearts and free love. The reason why Wang Yan had a one-night stand with Zhao Feng, perhaps it was because of 8 words, life-saving grace, and commitment. No other words. This kid is really responsible, and he didn't keep silent because he was afraid of me. Wang Jian said with great appreciation. Seeing this, Wang Yan revealed a sense of luck in her heart. Today in the court, Wang Wan and others proposed that the king marry you to Prince Fusu. Wang Jian suddenly said. As soon as these words fell, Wang Yan's face changed. What was supposed to come was finally coming. I know this day will come sooner or later. Wang Yan said bitterly, with despair in her eyes. Dad refused. Wang Jian suddenly said. Hearing this, Wang Yan was shocked and looked at Wang Jian in disbelief. Wang Shi on the side was the same. Master. Did you disobey the king's edict? Wang Shi looked at Wang Jian with great concern. How dare I disobey the king's edict? Wang Jian said unhappily. Then how did the master refuse? Wang Shi asked puzzledly. The king asked me what I thought, and I refused. The reason is that Yenner has already been engaged to someone else. Wang Jian smiled and looked at Wang Yan. Yenner. Dad said at the beginning that if possible, Dad would let you find your own happiness, instead of being forced into an arranged marriage. Now Dad has done it. Speaking of it, it's all thanks to Zhao Feng. If he hadn't asked, Dad would have no reason to refuse the king. Wang Jian smiled and looked at Wang Yan with a fatherly love. Hearing the voice, Wang Yan couldn't help it anymore. With tears in her eyes, she knelt down directly in front of Wang Jian. Dad, thank you. Wang Jian smiled, walked over and helped Wang Yan up. You are Dad's daughter. Since Dad has the ability, how could he let you have no choice? Wang Jian said with a smile. The king didn't blame the master. And who is Zhao Feng? Wang Shi on the side was very puzzled. Perhaps. Your Majesty feels the same way. Your Majesty was also forced to break up your marriage. Now Yener has already been engaged to Zhao Feng. How could your Majesty break up someone else's marriage? Wang Jian smiled slightly, he had also heard about what happened back then. Your Majesty was forced to break up your marriage. Who dares to be so bold? Wang was surprised. Wang Yan on the side was also the same. You don't need to know these things, and knowing them is not a good thing, anyway. Yener doesn't need to be arranged to marry, let alone marry Prince Fusu. Wang Jian said with a smile. In fact, I am quite optimistic about Prince Fusu. He is gentle and elegant. Not only is he the eldest of all the princes, but he is also the most likely to be the prince in the future. If our Yener marries Prince Fusu, maybe she will be the future queen in the future. Wang smiled. Women's opinions. Wang Jian glanced at him and said unhappily. Prince Fusu does have the best chance of becoming the crown prince, but why hasn't the king made him the crown prince? Wang Jian said calmly. Why? Wang asked puzzled. Because Prince Fusu is not qualified yet and has not met the king's expectations. Or, Prince Fusu is too entangled with Wang Wan, who regards his own interests as greater than the interests of the country, and Prince Fusu is also manipulated, which the king does not like very much. The king is ambitious and the successor he hopes for is naturally the same. At present, Prince Fusu cannot meet the requirements. If my Wang family really marries Prince Fusu, then my Wang family will passively stand on Prince Fusu's side. If Prince Fusu really fails in the battle for the throne, my Wang family will be doomed. So this time, Yener has helped my Wang family, at least she is not involved in this dispute for the throne. The only way to protect yourself is to stand aside and not participate. Wang Jian said with a smile. Wang Yan naturally heard all this, but at this moment, she was concerned about another matter. Dad. Do you agree that Zhao Feng and I will be together? Wang Yan asked with some expectation. Dad has already rejected Prince Fusu in front of the king, and also stated that you and Zhao Feng are in love. Can you still regret it? Dad only asks you one question, do you really like Zhao Feng? If the person you marry in the future is not Zhao Feng, then Dad will be guilty of deceiving the king. Wang Jian said with a bit of ridicule. Like. My daughter likes it. Wang Yan said anxiously, but she was a little shy as soon as she said it. Then I, Wang Jian, will decide that Zhao Feng will be my future son-in-law. I will find an opportunity to discuss the marriage with Zhao Feng's mother in person. Wang Jian laughed and said happily, and at this time. Wang Yan was a little hesitant. Yener. Your father has defended you so much, why are you still hesitating? Tell your father if you have anything to say. And you have been back for so long, and you have been depressed all day. I have never heard you talk about Zhao Feng. Who is he? Wang asked curiously. This Zhao Feng is a deputy general in the army. He saved Yener's life. Wang Jian smiled slightly. Just a deputy general? Wang was slightly surprised. Originally, she thought he was a son of a big family. What do you mean by just a deputy general? You don't know the potential of Zhao Feng. He joined the army for less than a year, and he became a deputy general from a commoner. Looking at the Qin army and the world, who has been promoted as fast as him? You woman. Wang Jian said dissatisfiedly. Now, it can be seen that Wang Jian attaches great importance to Zhao Feng. Although he is a little young and vigorous, he also has the responsibility as a man. Moreover, he does have the potential to be worthy of his daughter. Dad. My daughter may be pregnant with Zhao Feng. Wang Yan said hesitantly. As soon as these words fell, Wang Jian's face, which was originally full of smiles, froze instantly, and his eyes looked at Wang Yan's belly. What did you say? Pregnant with Zhao Feng. I have been vomiting for several days in a row, and I have been retching for many days. Wang Yan replied with some fear. Wang Jian looked at Wang Yan's panic steadily, and suddenly smiled. Okay. I didn't expect that Wang Jian, will soon have a grandson. Looking at Wang Jian's smile, Wang Yan was a little shocked. She thought Wang Jian should be angry. Dad, aren't you angry? Wang Yan asked tentatively. At the beginning, she had a night of love with Zhao Feng, originally wanting to face the matter of Zhao Ying decisively. In addition to being emotionally aroused by Zhao Feng, she also wanted to gamble, but Wang Yan didn't expect to be pregnant. Angry? How can I not be angry? That kid made you pregnant before marrying you, too presumptuous. But now the matter is done, what's the use of Dad being angry? As long as you can be happy and live a peaceful life in the future, and that kid will not be irresponsible to you, I am still sure of this. Wang Jian said gently. Hearing this, Wang Yan's heart was full of touch. She knelt down again and bowed her head. Thank you, father. Is your aunt pregnant with a little sister? Little Wang Li walked to Wang Yan's side and looked at her curiously. Why? Lear, do you want a little sister? Wang Jian said with a smile. Yes. Wang Li thought without hesitation. It depends on whether your aunt will give birth to a little brother or a little sister after 10 months. Wang Jian said with a smile. Master. Now that Yener is pregnant, should we call Zhao Feng back to marry Yener? Wang said. Zhao Feng has just been appointed as a deputy general and has been stationed in an important place. Besides, he has not even completed his 2-year service period. It is not easy to transfer him back. And this time I have offended the king once. If I put forward conditions again, I am afraid that I will anger the king. Wang Jian said in a deep voice. What should we do with Yener? Wang said. Can't my huge palace support Yener and her unborn baby? As for gossip. Who dares to gossip about my daughter? Wang Jian smiled lightly, with a domineering attitude of protecting his child. Yener, just take good care of your baby. Madam, take good care of Yener and don't let her get pregnant. As for Zhao Feng, I will write him a letter. I also want to see what he plans to do when he knows that Yener is pregnant. Wang Jian said with some curiosity and testing. Everything is up to Daddy. Wang Yan nodded. Weiqing. The Wei River, Zhao Feng rode a horse, followed by 100 personal guards, looking at the surging Wei River in front of him. Zhao Feng also had a magnificent heart. This Weishui River is just a tributary of the Great River. In his previous life, Zhao Feng was from the south, not the north, so he had never seen the Great River. The Great River was called the Great River in this era, and the Yellow River in the future. This is the legendary Weishui River. It is really magnificent. Swearing by the Weishui River has been the most important oath since ancient times, but it was changed by the betrayal of the old thief Sima. The oath by the Weishui River later became a joke. Looking at the Weishui River, Zhao Feng also sighed in his heart. At this time, Xuanhuan, under the protection of a group of trusted cavalry, quickly came to the Weishui River. General. Everything is arranged. Han Shi has successfully selected a hidden place in Weiqing, which is only half an hour away from here. All the people secretly recruited have also moved to this hidden place. General, are you going to move? Zhang Han reported respectfully. Finally arrived. Lead the way. Zhao Feng smiled and ordered immediately. Zhao Feng has been here for almost 10 days since he led his troops from Xinjiang to Weiqing. During this time, Zhao Feng quickly integrated the army, set up camp in Weiqing, and integrated the army, and today, Zhao Feng thought of the Wei River not far from Weiqing, and he was also interested in seeing it. This is a legendary place recorded in history, of course. The main purpose is to go out of the city to see the place where he secretly trained his death warriors. It is only a few dozen miles away from Weiqing, in a forest, under the leadership of Zhang Han. Zhao Feng led his guards to the depths of the forest. Outside the forest, dozens of guards were left to guard the war horses. Xuanhuan and Zhao Feng walked in. This dense forest is not flat, and war horses cannot walk. This forest is very large, with lush branches and leaves. Ordinary people will even get lost in it. Han Shi chose a good place. Zhao Feng looked around. In this dense forest, even the sunlight can only penetrate through the gaps between the forests, which looks extremely gloomy. Han Shi said this place is called the Ghost Forest. There are all kinds of ferocious beasts in the forest. Ordinary people dare not enter. Han Shi also spent a lot of effort to lead people to open up a mountain road into the depths of the forest. Zhang Han said as he walked. It is indeed a secret to set up this place, but after the death squad is successfully trained, a checkpoint must be arranged on the periphery. If someone breaks in, hide if you can. If you are discovered, you will be killed on the spot. Zhao Feng said in a deep voice. I think Han Shi will understand all this. Zhang Han said with a smile. The master and servant walked along while talking. I don't know how long they walked. They reached the deepest part of the dense forest, under a steep cliff. More than a dozen wooden houses have been built here. There are temporary fences outside the wooden houses, and people are on duty. Stop! That when Zhao Feng and Zhang Han arrived, someone immediately blocked the way with weapons in hand. My lord, come here, retreat. Zhang Han shouted in a low voice. When he saw that it was Zhang Han, the guard immediately knelt on the ground and said in awe, Greetings to the Lord. Zhao Feng nodded and walked slowly into the fence, and inside, hundreds of boys and girls were lined up to receive training from the elite former Han guards. When they saw Zhao Feng coming, Han Shi looked over and immediately shouted, Hurry up and see the Lord. P.S. It's the new year. Happy New Year, brothers. 7,000 words are sent. Please follow and support. Thank you very much. Chapter 93, Achievement of Level 2 Power. How to control Ying Zheng. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Hearing the voice. The 300 boys and girls in front of him knelt down to Zhao Feng without any hesitation, and all of them bowed to him with a burning heart, Your Majesty. Perhaps they were all young, but one thing was very clear, each of them was found and saved by Han Shi when they were on the verge of death. In Han Shi's words, Zhao Feng saved their lives. Everyone, get up. Zhao Feng nodded and waved his hand. Thank you, Your Majesty. After the 300 boys and girls stood up, they all looked at Zhao Feng respectfully. For you. I have saved your lives. For me, your role is to be my death warriors. In the days to come, you will lose your freedom and receive the most rigorous training. You will become walking travelers. In this process, you may die. But as long as you complete the training and become elite, I can guarantee that your future is limitless. Wealth, honor, and power. All can be granted. What I want is your loyalty. In the world, human hearts are the most unpredictable. Disloyal people are not worthy of being under my command, and disloyal people are not worthy of living under my command. Zhao Feng said coldly with a strong warning. Then, he opened his affiliated forces sub-panel. Force Leader, Zhao Feng, Double Cultivation Speed Blessing, Number of People, 515. Main Cultivation Method of the Force, Intermediate Internal Energy. After choosing the cultivation method as the main cultivation method of the force, the cultivation method can be directly transmitted through the panel, and the cultivation method can be limited to not be passed on to others. The force leader can deprive the cultivation method at any time. Level 2, if the number of recruits exceeds 5,000, it can be upgraded to a level 3 force. Faction characteristics. Burning spiritual energy objects speeds up the cultivation speed of the force's cultivation method. Give free attribute points, 200 points per month, and below, it is the list of forces under Zhao Feng's command, and their loyalty. Just a glance, Zhao Feng saw several people with low loyalty values. Even the critical point has not been reached, below 40, this can be said to be a grudge. Wu Li, Chao Qiu, Hu Yi. Zhao Feng read out the names of 7 people in a row. Stand up. That the people whose names were called felt uneasy, but they stood out inexplicably. 4 of them were among the boys and girls, and 3 were former Han imperial guards. 7 people stood in front of Zhao Feng, at a loss. "Do you hate me?" Zhao Feng suddenly said. As soon as he said this, the 7 people's faces changed, and they knelt down hurriedly, saying in fear, "I don't know what the master means. Today is the first time I see you, why do I know your names?" People's hearts are hard to predict. I can see through people's hearts. I saved you, but you didn't think of repaying me, but became enemies instead. Zhao Feng's voice became cold and stern. As soon as the voice fell, there was no need for Zhao Feng to speak. The accompanying guards rushed up instantly, took down the 7 people directly, and pressed them to the ground, and at this moment, the 7 people were even more flustered, but they still expressed inexplicably. "What does the master mean? We don't know. Please tell me clearly, master." Several people said in panic. "I said, I can see through people's hearts." Zhao Feng said coldly, his eyes swept coldly, he waved his hand and fell. Xuanhuan immediately understood, drew the sword from his waist, walked directly to a person, and slashed with a sword. Crack, in an instant, a person's head and body were separated, and he died on the spot. The other 6 people were even more panicked, especially the 4 young men, their faces turned pale, all the recruited people were terrified. But Xuanhuan did not hold back, and slashed with another sword, and another head fell to the ground. "You are right, I hate you. Since you saved me, why didn't you save my father? Why?" A young man couldn't help it, looking at Zhao Feng with hatred. As soon as these words fell, everyone was surprised. "Then why should I save you? In the final analysis, you are useful to me. What is your father useful to me? Saving you is all because you are useful to me. I save you, you work for me, it's that simple. I am not a saint." Zhao Feng said in a cold tone. He then waved his hand. No more words. Xuanhuan slashed down with a few more swords. He killed all these people directly, and the blood dyed the muddy ground red. At this moment, Zhao Feng also understood what it meant to be grateful for a little rice and hate for a big rice. For Zhao Feng, he is not a saint, and he can't do selfless dedication. Recruiting these people is ultimately to build up his own power and plan for the future. Now the Qin State has just destroyed Han, and there are 5 more countries in the future. Historically, it was completed within 10 years. After more than 10 years, at the end of the Qin dynasty, Zhao Feng has the confidence to make his own power a giant that spreads all over the world. There is a power of his own in secret. On the surface, Zhao Feng also wants to control the military power. Are there any kings, princes, generals or ministers of different species? After killing these 7 people, the remaining people all looked at Zhao Feng with awe, not daring to speak. "I said it. I can see through people's hearts. If you are disloyal to me, I will see it. The consequence of disloyalty is death. The betrayer will not only die himself, but also his family." Zhao Feng said coldly with a strong warning, he is not the kind of saint. To control his subordinates, he must have the means to control them. Swear to be loyal to the master until death. At this time, a young man with a firm face said loudly. After his voice fell, all the recruited people shouted in unison, "Swear to be loyal to the master until death." Looking at this young man, this firmness, and the deliberate performance of showing his head, Zhao Feng's eyes could not help but fall on him. "What is your name?" Zhao Feng asked. "My lord, I am Ying. The young man replied loudly, with a firm face, and he did not panic when looking at the corpse in front of him. Hearing this name, Zhao Feng was slightly startled. Ying. This is incredible, a fierce general in history who was second only to Xiang Yu in bravery, and according to historical records, Ying should be a true citizen during the Warring States period. Now, how did he get to Han? Ying in front of him should be about 11 years old, and his age is consistent. You should be a true citizen, right? Zhao Feng asked tentatively. As soon as this was said, Ying was surprised. How did the master know? Ying looked at Zhao Feng in shock. All the countries in the world belong to the same clan, but it is impossible to tell which country they are from. Why did you come to Han? Zhao Feng smiled and asked again. My parents were killed by someone, and I killed the enemy and fled to Han. I never thought that I would encounter Qin attacking Han and fell into war. I was going to die in Xinjiang City, but I was saved by the master's people. Yingbu replied truthfully. Okay. Zhao Feng smiled. He quietly looked at Yingbu's loyalty value on the power panel. It was above 60, which had exceeded the critical point of 50. This was also the initial effect. You are very honest. And I can see that you have potential. Be loyal to me, and I will give you everything you want. From now on. You are the temporary leader of these 300 secret soldiers. If you can be the best among the 300 people after completing the training, I will let you lead these 300 secret soldiers. Zhao Feng smiled and said to Yingbu. This can be regarded as a piece of cake promised to Yingbu. Hearing Zhao Feng's words, Yingbu's eyes became hot and full of determination. He bowed immediately. I will never let the master down. At this moment, Yingbu's loyalty value has quietly risen to 70. Among these 300 people, many people looked at Yingbu with dissatisfaction and envy. As soon as he showed his head, Yingbu was actually noticed by the master, so no matter when, opportunities must be firmly grasped. Han Shi. Zhao Feng turned his head. The slave is here. Han Shi responded immediately. Who is training them now? Zhao Feng asked. Reply to the master. It is the man next to me, Han Xuan, the former deputy commander of the Han Imperial Guard, who is good at training soldiers. Han Shi immediately pointed to a big man beside him and said. Han Xuan pays respect to the master. Han Xuan immediately bowed to Zhao Feng. You used to be the deputy commander of the Imperial Guard, and you had retired before the Qin dynasty broke through the Han capital. Why are you willing to come to my remote mountain? Zhao Feng asked with a faint smile. To survive, for my family. My ability is to train soldiers, and only to train soldiers. I am confident that if the master gives me the same encouragement and rewards as the Qin Ruishi, I can also train a strong army. Han Xuan replied seriously, with confidence on his face. I don't want you to train soldiers. Zhao Feng said in a deep voice. Then what does the master want? Han Xuan asked. I don't want soldiers who will charge into battle. Under my command, all the elite soldiers of the Qin army can charge into battle. What I want you to train are my death warriors, who will walk in the dark night and be loyal to me. They only obey my orders and are stronger than soldiers. Zhao Feng said in a deep voice. I understand. The master wants to train assassins. Han Xuan immediately understood. Can you train? Zhao Feng stared at Han Xuan. Yes, but it will be cruel. Han Xuan replied firmly. I don't care how you train. I want real elite death warriors. If you want people, I will give you people. If you want money, I will give you money. No matter the price. Zhao Feng said in a deep voice. Han Xuan knelt down without saying much. I will never let the master down. Then, Zhao Feng looked at the boys and girls who were divided into several rows, then he waved his hand. Walala, hundreds of sharp blades and crossbows appeared out of thin air on the ground. This creature out of thin air, Zhang Han's subordinates who saw it with their own eyes were naturally not amazed, but everyone else was stunned. To have so many weapons out of thin air, is the master a god? The master is really a god, no wonder he can see through people's hearts, so powerful. Our master is a god. Everyone looked at Zhao Feng in shock, and in their hearts they were even more awed. If this method is not done by a god, who can do it? In this regard, Zhao Feng naturally glanced at it calmly, which was of course what he did on purpose. Zhao Feng wanted to shape his own strength in the hearts of these people so that they could not disobey. He had emptied Han Baoku's short weapons, and now they could finally be used. Han Xuan, I leave these weapons to you to manage. In 3 months, I want to see the initial results. Zhao Feng said to Han Xuan. No. Han Xuan responded immediately. Like everyone else's gaze, it was filled with awe. Finished explaining, Zhao Feng walked aside again. Han Shi followed immediately. He naturally understood that Zhao Feng had something to explain. Having served King Han for many years, his ability to observe words and emotions is naturally first-rate. I have 2 top-secret blueprints. One is about the art of iron-making, which can forge sharp weapons stronger than those in the army, and the other is about the art of brewing, which can refine the strongest liquor in the world. Zhao Feng, he said to Han Shi very seriously. Followed, 2 drawings also appeared in Zhao Feng's hands. May I ask, Lord, can this iron-making technique be used to refine refined iron? Han Shi asked tentatively. Fine iron, it is the most difficult to forge, but weapons forged from fine iron can be called magical weapons. Good. And it's still better than any method of forging and refining fine iron in the world today. Zhao Feng smiled slightly. Zhao Feng was very confident about the refined iron extracted from the treasure box. This is definitely way ahead of its time. Your Majesty is truly a god. I respect you, my slave. Han Shi said respectfully. You are in charge of these 2 formulas personally. No one is allowed to see the full formula except you. Anyone who joins my command has no chance to leave. If anyone escapes, you can directly let Han Xuan deal with it. Traitors are not allowed under my command. Zhao Feng said seriously. Please rest assured, Lord. My slave will definitely master the 2 formulas personally. If there is any mistake in the formula, I am willing to die to apologize. Han Shi said immediately, and the firm loyalty to Zhao Feng that he trusted so well emerged in his heart. Iron making requires iron ore. I will leave you 5,000 gold. You can use it if necessary. Except. We will secretly send people to buy some restaurants in various cities in Yingchuan. In the future, strong liquor will be brewed. This will be the biggest source of money for my support force. You can also directly send people to buy the rice needed for brewing. Zhao Feng said. My slave understands. Han Shi nodded immediately. Keep Zhao Feng's words firmly in mind. One more thing. There is also a prescription here. Purchase all the medicinal materials on it, as much as you can. Zhao Feng took out the medicinal materials needed for the bone refining powder and handed it to Han Shi. Han Shi remembered everything in his heart. It's going to be night. Outside the mountains and forests, looking at the mountain forest ahead that was gradually shrouded in darkness, Zhao Feng's face showed a hint of expectation. My force has been initially formed, and it will take time to receive the goods. Start and return to camp. Zhao Feng got on his horse and ordered loudly. All the guards got on their horses one after another. They gathered around Zhao Feng and headed towards Weiqing. About half an hour, Zhao Feng returned to the military camp. There are camps all over the military camp, and everything is in order, except for those patrolling Wei City and the border. The rest of the 37,000 troops were stationed in military camps. Certainly, he was also responsible for guarding the Hanjiang soldiers who were gradually being escorted. General Zhao. Within 5 days, all Hanjiang soldiers will be sent to Weiqing. The general still needs to give instructions on how to reorganize it at that time. Zhao Tuo and others will gather in front of Zhao Biao and report respectfully. I have already made some regulations regarding the reorganization of the demoted soldiers. This is the complete list. Take a look. Zhao Feng smiled slightly, picked up a bamboo slip, and handed it to Zhao Tuo. The other generals immediately gathered around to take a look. General, are you going to disrupt all these surrendered soldiers and integrate them into our army? Zhao Tuo asked in surprise. Not bad. Zhao Feng said solemnly. But General, there has never been such a reorganization of the soldiers in the army in the past. Even if there was a reorganization in the past, the soldiers were integrated into one army and were not mixed with our warriors. The intention to surrender the soldiers is due to fatigue. It is not a good thing to affect our army's combat effectiveness. Zhao Tuo said. If everything remains unchanged, how can we turn the surrendered soldiers into the fighting strength of our great Qin? Zhao Feng glanced at it and said solemnly. This matter will be handled according to the general's instructions. Starting from tomorrow, the soldiers will be reorganized into the army. Zhao Feng said with an unquestionable tone. To this, even if Zhao Tuo had any objections, he could only nod, no. The first level of officialdom crushes people to death. This has been true since ancient times. Zhao Feng is now ordered to guard Weicheng and is the absolute superior officer in the Weiqing military camp. Moreover, the order to reorganize and reduce soldiers has been approved by Li Teng, and Zhao Feng has also issued a military order. If anything happens, he will bear everything. How dare they, the subordinates, disobey? One more thing. It is also about the core of reducing soldiers into combat power. Send the general's order. After the soldiers are reduced and reorganized into the army, if they go into battle and kill one enemy, they will be exempted from the status of slaves. If they kill another enemy, they can truly become a soldier of our great Qin and enjoy the military merit system. If they kill 5 enemies, they will be promoted to the first level. Everything after that, treat them all with the courtesy of a warrior. Zhao Feng looked at the generals and announced another important order. As soon as these words fell, the 5 generals in front of them were shocked again. Treat the surrendered soldiers with the courtesy of a sharp soldier. And promote them through the military merit system. General, this move is really more wrong. This matter really needs to be considered carefully. At least, it can only be implemented with the approval of the king. Chen Tao also spoke at this moment. I second the proposal. It still needs to wait for the king's approval before it can be implemented. Otherwise, it will violate the military system of our Qin dynasty. Zhao Tuo also immediately agreed. Hearing that it violated the military system, Xuanhuan also looked at Zhao Feng with some worry. This matter. I have ordered people to report to General Li Teng. I believe General Li should have sent people to Xianyang. But since you are worried, let's wait for the imperial edict to be sent back from Xianyang. Zhao Feng said calmly. Regarding the discussion on this matter, Zhao Feng was very confident that the King of Qin would definitely agree. Not for any reason, because he was Qin Shihuang, because he was a king with great talent and strategy, and he could naturally see the benefits of surrendering soldiers if they were used by Qin. As for the disadvantages, it seemed that there was really no benefit. It was nothing more than spending some money and food and raising more troops. Yes. Hearing Zhao Feng say this, all the generals nodded. Okay. Generals, go back and rest. We will start the reorganization tomorrow. Report to me directly if there is any situation. Zhao Feng said to the generals. Yes. I will take my leave. The 5 generals bowed and then retreated. After they left, Zhao Feng thought to himself, the official seal of luck. In front of him, the official seal of luck flashed with a faint halo. Commanding 50,000 troops, with the luck of the deputy general of the dynasty, do you want to upgrade the official seal of luck? A prompt appeared on the panel. Upgrade. Zhao Feng naturally would not hesitate. As the luck halo flashed with golden light, the 2 words, Due, on the official seal changed and became, Deputy General, and the official seal also turned into a tiger-shaped seal. Wear the official seal. As the official seal of luck was upgraded, Zhao Feng wore it immediately, and the attributes of this official seal of luck were also presented in front of Zhao Feng. Deputy General Seal, commanding 50,000 troops, the host can lead the charge to double the morale of the soldiers under his command, and can double the combat power of the soldiers under his command. The host can lead the soldiers under his command to carry corpses for burial, and can obtain 30% of the total burial soldier picking attributes. Seeing the attributes of this official seal, although it has been greatly improved, Zhao Feng is still a little disappointed. Morale and combat power are both doubled, which is really amazing. But why do you have to carry corpses for burial to obtain the attributes of the troops picking up? Can't it be changed to how many attributes the sharp soldiers under your command get by killing the enemy? Zhao Feng thought helplessly. If you can get a certain percentage of attributes by killing the enemy with your sharp soldiers, it would be comfortable. It is definitely more exciting for Zhao Feng than arranging his troops to carry corpses, and you will get more attributes. I hope that I will have the opportunity to change the attributes of the luck official seal when I am promoted to the main general in the future. Zhao Feng said in his heart. After dealing with everything, Zhao Feng did not waste precious time for cultivation. He returned to his barracks, he began the necessary daily cultivation. Now Zhao Feng has become a second-level leader, and his cultivation speed has increased again. From now on, the attributes obtained from practicing every night will also be considerable, but as his attributes increase. Zhao Feng used to be able to obtain about 40 points of attributes every night, but now he can't obtain so many, perhaps because his attributes are too strong, but the increase in true energy is very considerable. Zhaodu, Han Dan. Asshole. Ying Zheng, damn Ying Zheng. He actually destroyed Han. How dare he? Why? In Longtai Palace, Xuanhuan Zhao Yan was furious and roared angrily. Your Majesty, calm down. This Ying Zheng is just a waste who lost his luck. He can never be compared with your Majesty. On the side, Zhao Xiang Guokai immediately flattered. He is a waste, so I am even more of a waste if I have not expanded the territory. Zhao Yan shouted angrily. Guokai immediately walked up and knelt down. Your Majesty, please calm down. I have absolutely no such intention. Ying Zheng. He was trampled under my feet when he was a child. Even if he grows up, he is destined to be trampled under my feet. How can a waste like him be king? One day, I will destroy the Qin State and all the countries in the world. Only I am worthy of unifying the world. Zhao Yan said very arrogantly. In his opinion, in his heart, he never took Ying Zheng seriously from beginning to end. In the past, when Ying Zheng was a hostage in Zhao Yan and Guokai were the ones who bullied Ying Zheng the most. Your Majesty is right. Only your Majesty can unify the world. Guokai immediately flattered him. Guokai. You should have heard the voices of the court and the people talking about me. Zhao Yan looked at Guokai with a gloomy face. I dare not say. Guokai's face changed. Zhao Yan sneered. They said that I got the throne illegitimately and robbed Zhao Yi of the throne. They said that I have no virtue and talent and am not worthy of being a king. Zhao Yi. What a trick. He spread all these. Zhao Yi is more hateful than Ying Zheng. No, Ying Zheng is the most hateful. If he hadn't let Zhao Yi go, how could I have encountered this? Guokai immediately said, as long as the king issues an edict, I am willing to kill Zhao Yi immediately, so that the whole Zhao state knows that the king is the king. Kill Zhao Yi. If I kill him, I will face the wrath of the royal family, and the whole Zhao people will change their hearts. If I could kill him, I would have killed him long ago. Hateful. Zhao Yan cursed, but more of it was a kind of helplessness. If the king can expand the territory for the great Zhao, then the discussion in the court and even the discussion among the people will no longer appear. Everyone will praise the king as a wise monarch. Guokai rolled his eyes and said immediately, as soon as these words fell, Zhao Yan's eyes suddenly lit up. What a reputation it is to be a king who expands the territory. If he can also destroy a country, wouldn't his reputation surpass that of Ying Zheng? You are right. If I can expand the territory for Zhao, then I will be the wise ruler of Zhao, and everyone will truly submit to me and dare not discuss it anymore. Zhao Yi, at that time, was just a dog under my feet. And Ying Zheng, he was able to destroy Han, am I not as good as him? Zhao Yan sneered, full of pride. Your Majesty is right. Ying Zheng is not as good as one of your toes. Guokai immediately flattered. The reason why he was able to sit on the position of Prime Minister was because he had followed Zhao Yan since he was a child, and he relied on the skills of flattery to sit on this position. Of course, there was also a promise made by Zhao Yan in the past, to get rid of Mao Sui and prevent Zhao Yi from returning to Zhao, and Zhao Yan promised Guokai the position of Prime Minister. The discussion in Zhao was not wrong at all. Zhao Yan's throne was originally not legitimate. Yan State has always had a grudge against our great Zhao. If I mobilize troops to attack Yan, I will be able to convince the court officials with a legitimate reason. Zhao Yan said in a deep voice. Your Majesty. You can mobilize troops, but be careful of Qin State. Once our great Zhao mobilizes troops, Qin State will attack our great Zhao. That will not be a good thing. If we can force Qin State to sign a non-aggression pact with our Great Zhao, so that Qin State dare not attack our Great Zhao will have enough time to destroy Yan. Guo Kai suggested. Hearing this, Zhao Yan's expression also became serious. Indeed, this is something worth worrying about. Ying Zheng hates me to the bone, how could he sign a pact with me? Zhao Yan sneered, not thinking that Ying Zheng would sign a pact with him at all. Your Majesty can send someone to check if there is anything that can threaten Ying Zheng and force Ying Zheng to sign a pact. Guo Kai said tentatively. Zhao Yan nodded and thought for a while. Zhao Yan thought of something. Have you heard of Zhao Ji, the mother of Ying Zheng? Zhao Yan sneered, as if he had thought of a bad idea. Of course. It's just that Ying Zheng's mother is a slut, and she gave birth to 2 half-brothers for Ying Zheng, which is really a laughing stock. Moreover, she betrayed Ying Zheng and helped that wild man to rebel. Only such a slut can do this in the whole world. Guo Kai said with a smile, his words full of sarcasm. If Zhao Ji is captured and brought into Zhao, then Ying Zheng will be controlled by me. Zhao Yan sneered. P.S. New Year is coming. Please support, monthly tickets, and recommendation tickets. 7,000 words 2-in-1 is presented. Chapter 95 Zhao Ying, my brother became a general. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Looking at Zhao Ying in front of him, she was so young and beautiful, with a stunning face of a young girl. Chen Fun, who was a 500 man, was also surprised, but then he calmed down and asked gently, all the lists of Sha village are here. Did your brother enlist? Obviously Chen Fun himself was also slightly surprised. My brother enlisted 11 months ago and also went to the Korean battlefield. But my brother's name is not on any of the 3 lists. Zhao Ying replied softly. At this moment, a hope was also ignited in Zhao Ying's heart. There was no name of her brother on the list of disabled and killed. Doesn't that mean that her brother might still be alive? What is your brother's name? Chen Fun asked. Zhao Feng. Zhao Ying replied immediately. What did you say? Zhao Feng. Chen Fun widened his eyes and looked at Zhao Ying in shock. What happened to my brother? Zhao Ying's expression changed. Zhao Ying saw the shock on Chen Fun's face. Did her brother do something? How old is your brother? Chen Fun suppressed his surprise and asked again. My brother is 16. Zhao Ying answered honestly. Wait a minute. Chen Fun immediately turned around and took out a separate record from the hands of the soldiers behind him. On this bamboo slip, there was only this person's name. Chen Fun opened it and took a look. Zhao Feng, 16 years old, from Sha Village, Shacun County, 10th level title, Shu Chang, official deputy general of Daqin, enjoys an annual salary of 500 stones for the title, a monthly salary of 25 stones for the official position, an annual salary of 300 stones, and a total salary of 800 stones. When Chen Fun saw this, he was stunned. This separate bamboo slip was specially instructed above, and after the salaries of all the soldiers in Shacun County were paid, the annual salary of this general would be paid. And the person who paid it was not Chen Fun, but the upper-level officials who paid it personally. This sealed record is in the hands of every chief officer who distributes it. After all, there is more than one village named Shacun in Shacun County, but it happened that Chen Fun encountered it. Zhao Feng, the deputy general of Daqin, is higher in rank than the county governor. Although he cannot be called a frontier official, he is definitely a person in power in Daqin. I understand why the county governor has given special instructions to pay attention to the person in this sealed record. A 16-year-old deputy general, this is the only one in my Daqin, right? It turns out that this legendary figure is actually in my Shacun County. Lessoned in the army for less than a year, the official was promoted to deputy general, and the rank was promoted 10 levels. Killed General Han, broke through the capital of Han, captured the king of Han, and made countless military exploits. The king issued an edict, and the whole army became famous. Looking at the bamboo slip in his hand, Chen Fun's heart was trembling at this moment, and even excited. He never thought that this legendary figure actually came from this small village in front of him, and he didn't expect that he would meet the sister of this legendary figure. You know, it has been almost 2 months since Han was destroyed and returned to Yingchuan County. During this period, under the king's edict, Zhao Feng's heroic achievements were publicized to inspire the whole army. Although Zhao Feng's name was not spread among the people, the news had spread in military camps everywhere, whether it was the elite soldiers, the county soldiers, or the logistics army, for the generals and soldiers of the entire Qin army, after hearing about the achievements created by Zhao Feng. The first reaction was unbelievable. After all, a person who had been in the army for less than a year could have made such a great contribution. And this person was still 16 years old. Secondly, it is said that this person made contributions from the logistics army. This is even more unbelievable, but the second reaction is that the current king personally issued an edict to spread Zhao Feng's military achievements to the whole army. Who dares not to believe it when the king's edict is issued? The third reaction is that the whole army naturally has different thoughts. The appearance of Zhao Feng has inspired countless soldiers to make progress. Zhao Feng, a new soldier who has just joined the army for less than a year, can make such great achievements. At the age of 16, he became the deputy general of the Qin dynasty and commanded 50,000 troops. Who would not respect him for such power and honor? Who would not envy him? Some people take Zhao Feng as their goal, while others are full of jealousy. After all, many people in the army think that Zhao Feng's achievements are purely luck. The total number of soldiers of all kinds in the Qin dynasty is as high as 1 million, and people's hearts are different. Even if Zhao Feng knew, he would not bother to care about anything. Xuanhuan came back to his senses. He closed the bamboo slips in his hand, then turned around and looked at Zhao Ying with awe. Compared with before, this change in emotion is also obvious. Zhao Ying is the younger sister of the youngest deputy general of the Qin dynasty. From ancient times to the present, when one person succeeds, all his family members will rise to heaven. Then Zhao Ying's identity is not just that of a villager, but the deputy general of the Qin dynasty, or even the future commander, the sister of the general. Her social class has changed. Sir. What happened to my brother? Looking at Xuanhuan, who had a strange expression but did not speak, Zhao Ying asked again. At this moment, she cried, full of worry, but still held on to the fluke and expectation that her brother might really be alive. Miss, no, Mississippi. Please don't call me sir. Hearing Zhao Ying's address to him, Xuanhuan waved his hands repeatedly, and even his expression was extremely respectful, and his address to Zhao Ying changed from girl to Mississippi. This attitude is clearly that of a subordinate. Hearing this, Zhao Ying was surprised. The surrounding villagers were also the same. What's going on? Why does this gentleman seem so respectful to the Zhao family girl? Does the Zhao family have any other origins? I don't know. From the look of this gentleman, his attitude changed after reading a letter. Could it be that the Zhao family's phone boy had some luck? Became a high official? That's impossible. The Zhao family kid has been enlisted for less than a year. No matter what, he must be a sergeant. The gentleman in front of him is the Lord of 500, with 500 generals under his command. Yes. 500 lords, this is a high official. But why is he so respectful to the Zhao family girl? Looking at Xuanhuan's attitude, the surrounding villagers couldn't help but whisper and discuss. All of them were very surprised and puzzled. For them, at this moment, in addition to surprise, there was curiosity. Could it be that the Zhao family's kid Feng has really made a name for himself? Looking at Xuanhuan in front of him, Wu Lizheng couldn't help but be surprised. After all, Xuanhuan's respectful look really makes people think about it. Sir. What happened to my brother? Please tell me. Is he still alive? Zhao Ying asked anxiously. Now she only cares about her brother's life or death. Mississippi. Your brother is alive and well, and he has made great contributions to the Qin dynasty. Xuanhuan said with awe. Hearing this, Zhao Ying's hanging heart was completely put down, and a relieved smile appeared on her face. It's good to be alive, it's good for my brother to be alive, it's great. As for Xuanhuan's last sentence, Zhao Ying didn't seem to listen to it. In her view as a sister, as long as her brother is alive, it is the best thing. She doesn't care about meritorious service or promotion. Sir. Why is the Zhao family kid not on the list? And why hasn't his annual salary been paid? Wu Lizheng walked forward and asked curiously. At this moment, hundreds of eyes all fell on Chen Feng. It's not that I won't pay it, but I'm not qualified to pay General Zhao's annual salary. Chen Feng said with awe. This look, it was completely awe from the heart. Under the Qin military system, the imperial guards are the highest and are responsible for protecting the king, the elite soldiers are responsible for expanding the country's territory, and the imperial guards are selected from the elite soldiers. The most elite have the qualifications to protect the king and guard the capital, the county soldiers are second and are responsible for guarding the territory for Qin, and the last is naturally the logistics army, which is responsible for cleaning the battlefield, burying corpses, etc. A general of the logistics army is not as good as a lieutenant of the county soldiers in terms of the real level, and a lieutenant of the county soldiers is not as good as a military marquis of the real elite soldiers. This may be the difference in the level of authority. As for Chen Feng, a general of 500, there is no need to say more. The deputy general of the Qin dynasty led 50,000 troops, and he was a real general. General Zhao, Wu Lizheng said in surprise. His voice became louder. The villagers around him looked at Chen Feng with shock. The boy from the Zhao family became a general. No way. The boy from the Zhao family has been in the army for less than a year. Even if it is a prince or noble, it is difficult to be promoted to a general, right? How did the boy from the Zhao family do it? General, that is a big official. Yes. The boy from the Zhao family became a general. No way. All the villagers looked at Chen Feng in shock, and then looked at Zhao Ying. All of them were a little unbelievable. Zhao Feng has lived in Sha Village for 15 years. Naturally, there is no villager in Sha Village who does not know the Zhao brothers and sisters. After all, the reputation of the Zhao brothers and sisters for filial piety has been circulated in the village before. Everyone envies the atmosphere of the Zhao family, the loving mother and the filial children, and now, the boy from the Zhao family seems to have made a name for himself. My brother became a general. Impossible. Hearing Chen Feng's address, even Zhao Ying, as a younger sister, was in disbelief. Although her brother looked good and had some ideas, he became a general with his weak body. This obviously overturned Zhao Ying's cognition and she couldn't believe it at all. Mississippi. Your brother's name is known to the whole army. Although I can't personally pay the annual salary for General Zhao, the county governor specifically instructed that if I meet General Zhao's family, I should immediately read out General Zhao's official title and annual salary, as well as General Zhao's military exploits for the country. Chen Feng said with a serious face. Afterwards, with a solemn look not seen before, he held the single bamboo slip in both hands, faced all the villagers, and read aloud. Zhao Feng, 16 years old, from Sha Village, Shacun County. After joining the army, he trained as a new soldier for 3 months, and then served in the logistics army. The king ordered that our great Qin army launched an attack on Han, and the logistics army where Zhao Feng was stationed went to the battlefield in Han to clean up the bodies. When the battlefield was being cleaned up, Bao Qiu, the son of Han's general Bao Yuan, pretended to be dead and attacked and killed several of our soldiers. In order to save the lives of his comrades, Zhao Feng killed Bao Qiu and won honors in battle. Our Qin dynasty conquered Yangcheng. Just as our main army was pursuing the defeated military system, General Han Baoyuan set up an ambush in Yangcheng. Under the night, he made a surprise attack on our army. At the critical moment, Zhao Feng led the soldiers of the logistics army to fight to the death. Prevent our Daqin grain road from being destroyed by the enemy. And encircled the main army. Zhao Feng finally succeeded in killing Han General Bao Yuan, which was a great achievement. After this battle, General Wang Jian transferred Zhao Feng to the main battle camp to fight for the country. My great Qin dynasty attacked steadily on the battlefield in Han. The army surrounded Xinjiang, the capital of Han, and stormed the gate of Handu without breaking through the camp of 10,000 generals. At the critical moment, Zhao Feng was ordered to attack, and finally broke through the city gate, winning the victory of conquering Handu. After breaking the city, I killed countless enemies, beheaded Han's new general, and beheaded Han's prime minister. After breaking through the palace of King Han had already absconded. Zhao Feng had an insight and searched for a secret passage in the palace. He followed the secret passage to find the hiding place of King Han, and captured King Han, which was a great achievement. The great king is very pleased with Zhao Feng's achievements. Rewards based on merit. Zhao Feng, with a title of 10th levels Wazu Chief, enjoys a title with an annual salary of 500 shi, and an official title with a Deputy General of the Qin dynasty, with a monthly salary of 25 shi and an annual salary of 300 shi, with a total salary of 800 shi. The land awarded by the title will be decided by the county governor himself. Chen Fan read loudly with a look of awe. When the people in the entire village heard about Zhao Feng's military exploits in less than a year, they were all shocked. No matter Li Zheng, Zhao Ying, or other villagers, they all looked like this, staring in shock. The entire village also became silent. Everyone was frightened by Zhao Fengli's military exploits, after being quiet for a long time. The boy from the Zhao family beheaded the general of South Korea, the Prime Minister of South Korea, conquered the capital of Han, and captured the King of Han. Is this a joke? I once had the honor to hear someone say that the Korean general was called Bao Yuan. He had a great reputation. I didn't expect that he was killed by Zhao Feng. He must have been too powerful. Not to mention the generals of South Korea, even the king of the enemy country was captured by Zhao Feng. This is a king captured. It's time to make a difference. The boy from the Zhao family has really made a difference. It's amazing that a village as small as ours can produce a general. Yes. In the past, the eldest son of the Li Zheng family seemed to have been awarded the title of military marquis, which was also the highest official in our village. Zhao Feng was awarded the title of deputy general. As for deputy general, I used to serve in the army. This is a real general. In charge of tens of thousands of soldiers and horses. It's incredible, it's really incredible. We have outstanding people in Shacun. Everyone was shocked when they heard Zhao Feng's military exploits for the Qin dynasty. When they first heard Zhao Feng being called a general, they were very surprised. Could this General Zhao really be Zhao Feng? After all, they saw it with their own eyes when Zhao Feng was drafted into the army. In the end, it was only 11 months, not even a year, but now, he actually became a general. Moreover, these military exploits are indeed enough to make him a general. Don't talk about Zhao Feng being granted the title of general. He can also be granted the title of knight. The title he was granted was Xuanhuan. This title has thousands of acres of fertile land, and it can be inherited hereditary. Zhao Feng's eldest son can inherit it in the future. These fertile lands and titles. Yes. Chief Sua, this is a hereditary and irreplaceable title. It can be inherited as long as there are no heirs. Zhao Feng has really distinguished himself. A great man has emerged from our Sha village. It's incredible, it's incredible. I didn't expect Zhao Feng to be so powerful. I used to think that Zhao Feng was very outstanding when I looked at him, but now I see that he is really amazing. Yes, he performed exceptionally well before, and now he is even more powerful. Everyone was talking very excitedly. Almost every villager was praising Zhao Feng. Perhaps, this is also the human heart. Although Zhao Feng got along well with the villagers in the village in the past, there were still some disagreements. After all, wherever there are people, there will be disputes. Even in this small village, at this moment, Zhao Feng was awarded the title of general. Once he gained power, the whole village naturally followed him. My brother became a general. You also killed General Han. Attacked the capital of Han. Captured the king of Han. Is this still my brother? That is a twin sister from the same mother. She was completely confused at this moment. As a sister who grew up with her brother, they are very close. She really didn't expect her brother to be so powerful. She had just prayed that nothing would happen to her brother on the battlefield, but she never thought that her brother would give him such a big surprise. If Mom hears this news, I'm afraid she won't believe it. Did it really happen to my brother? But even now, Zhao Ying still couldn't believe it when someone from the government read it out in person. This is like taking the exam for the #1 scholar in later generations. It was as if his brother had suddenly become the top scholar. which was so shocking, and for his brother's military exploits, he was awarded the title of general, which was much more impressive than being admitted to the top of the imperial examination. Grown-ups. Is this true? Has Zhao Feng really become a general? Could I have mistaken the wrong person? After all, there are quite a few people with the same name in my Daqin. Wu Li was looking at Xuanhuan and confirmed again, it's better to figure out this kind of thing, so as not to make a mistake by then. Place of origin, age, all these match. And there is also a record issued by the Xiaofu, which has been personally confirmed by the Xiaofu of the court. How can it be false? Xuanhuan replied with a smile. The boy before has really become a general. Wu Lizheng said in amazement. Wu Lizheng, your village has produced a hero. A 16-year-old deputy general of the Qin dynasty, this is the only one in the world. Now that General Zhao is a deputy general, his future is limitless. The current king even personally issued a royal decree to spread General Zhao's military exploits throughout the army and inspire every sharp soldier. Although the common people do not know the reputation of General Zhao, we all know the name of General Zhao in the army. Who among the soldiers of the army does not respect General Zhao's bravery, and who does not respect General Zhao's military exploits for the country? Xuanhuan also replied with a respectful attitude, there are many changes brought about by power. Originally, Xuanhuan's attitude towards Wu Lizheng was also uneven, but now there is also a sense of flattery in it. After all, Wu Lizheng is the most respected old man in the village, and he is also the head of the village. And seeing Zhao Ying's attitude towards Wu Lizheng, it is like a grandfather. This may be the same for the legendary General Zhao. If you offend Wu Lizheng, you will offend General Zhao who has unlimited potential in the future. This Xuanhuan is not that stupid. The king personally issued a royal decree for the young man Zhao. Wu Lizheng was even more surprised. Mississippi. Please keep this letter of your brother's annual salary and military exploits. This time the annual salary has been distributed. General Zhao's annual salary is not eligible for distribution by his subordinates. When we return to the county city this time, the county governor will come in person to distribute General Zhao's annual salary, and the 1,000 acres of good land deeds granted by General Zhao's title will also be handed over to General Zhao. Xuanhuan was very respectful and handed the book in his hands to Zhao Ying. Zhao Ying glanced at Wu Lizheng, and at the latter's signal, she stepped forward and took the record of her brother's military exploits with both hands. Dear fellow villagers. All the annual salaries and pensions of Sha village have been distributed this time. If you have any objections, you can raise them now. No objection, I will go to the next village to distribute the annual salary. Xuanhuan raised his head and looked at the villagers at the entrance of the village, and asked loudly. As soon as the voice fell, the villagers who received the annual salary shook their heads, indicating that they had no objection. After all, they had already counted them. So. Wu Lizheng, then I will leave first. Xuanhuan clasped his fists to Wu Lizheng. Goodbye, sir. Wu Lizheng also immediately clasped his fists in return. Miss Zhao. I will report to the county governor immediately after returning to the county city. Within the next 2 days, the county governor will come in person to distribute the annual salary to General Zhao. Xuanhuan said to Zhao Ying very respectfully, and the flattery in his words could be heard. Thank you. Zhao Ying also replied immediately. Let's go. Seeing this, Xuanhuan smiled with satisfaction, then turned on his horse and led his soldiers to the other side. 500 county soldiers also escorted the annual salary carriage and gradually left. After they left completely, all the villagers looked at Zhao Ying, whether they were familiar with her in the past or just ordinary people. At this moment, there was a flattering look in their eyes. Congratulations, Zhao girl. Your brother has become a general, and your family will live a good life. I heard that Sui Shuzhang is a real high-ranking noble, hereditary, and has thousands of acres of fertile land. Zhao girl, my man died early, and I only have 1 acre of land I reclaimed myself. Can you pay less rent and give me a few acres of land to plant? Zhao girl, my family is the same. There are 7 people in my family and only 2 acres of land. Can you rent a few acres of land for my family to plant? At this time, a group of villagers gathered around, all with a flattering intention, talking to each other, but many people have a purpose, wanting to plant land. After all, in the village, not everyone can have a title, and not everyone has land to plant. If you want to get land to plant, either your son has a title, or you have a surplus of land to rent and pay rent. From ancient times to the present, the fundamental reason why dynasties flourished and perished was because of land annexation. Why is the national strength of the Qin dynasty so strong now? Because after Xiangyang's reform, it was equivalent to cutting off the meat of the nobles and distributing it to the elite warriors who had gained military merits and titles. In other countries, their land annexation has also reached its extreme. If ordinary people want to plant, they have to pay high rent to the nobles. This is a reincarnation. Facing the enthusiasm of these villagers, you say one thing and I say another. Zhao Ying was completely panicked. She had never encountered such a situation before. Everyone had different reasons, and everyone wanted to get land from her hands to plant. At this time, Wu Lizheng came over and shouted loudly, "Disperse!" After all, he is the elder of the village, and he is also the head of the village. Naturally, there is some majesty. Under Wu Lizheng's scolding, the villagers who were chattering around Zhao Ying also dispersed one after another. At this time, Wu Lizheng walked to Zhao Ying's side, then glanced at the surrounding villagers and said with dissatisfaction, "We are all from the same village, what's the matter? You know the situation of the Zhao family. Zhao Feng and his sister are young, and their mother is weak and sick. Now Zhao Feng has finally made a name for himself, and you are asking for this and that. Why? I'll tell you. Zhao Feng was awarded the title of general because he risked his life, and it is what he deserves. His 1,000 acres of fertile land also belongs to him. If he wants to rent it to you at a low price, it is his kindness. If he doesn't give it, it is reasonable. How many people in our village have the Zhao family helped over the years? If it weren't for Zhao Ying and her mother's medical skills, I don't know how many people in our village would die and how many diseases there would be. And you know how low the medical fees they charge are. I'm afraid it's less than 1/20th of what you would pay for medical treatment in the county. What are you doing now? Forcing Zhao Ying to give her brother's land to you to farm? Are you robbing by force? Wu Lizheng scolded the villagers around him with anger. He was really angry. It's been so many years. It was also the first time that Wu Lizheng was so angry. As an elder in the village, all 3 sons died on the battlefield, but Wu Lizheng had no complaints. Moreover, Zhao Feng's siblings and his mother were able to survive thanks to Wu Lizheng's care for many years, which shows his kindness, but now he is so angry, perhaps because he hates these villagers for being too ignorant. Facing Wu Lizheng's reprimand, the villagers who were shouting just now all lowered their heads in shame, not daring to argue with Wu Lizheng. Okay. I've said this. Regarding Zhao Feng's land, I will discuss it with Zhao Feng's mother. There are really no poor families in the village who can't farm. I believe Zhao Feng's mother will not sit idly by. Over the years, the Zhao family has been a benevolent doctor. Don't you understand? Is it necessary to surround Ying girl like this? Let's go, Ying girl, go back and tell your mother the good news. She has been worried about your brother for so long, and it's time for her to know. Wu Lizheng said loudly again, and then he personally cleared the way for Zhao Ying, walking towards the village. The villagers also made way. Zhao Ying followed Wu Lizheng, with some fear in her eyes. The appearance of these villagers just now was really scary, completely different from before. Looking at Wu Lizheng and Zhao Ying who walked a little further away, some villagers started to talk in a low voice, but at this moment they didn't dare to be too presumptuous, so they could only speak in a low voice. P.S. Please recommend, please vote, please support, thank you very much. Chapter 96 Zhao Ying, Mom, my brother is alive and well. Zhao was shocked. You are listening at NavelFull.audio. About Zhao Feng being named a general, perhaps some people are really happy for Zhao Feng, and for Zhao Feng's mother and sister. For example, Wu Lizheng is a typical example. He has no jealousy at all, but some people, seeing that those who usually live a worse life than themselves have now become the most powerful in the village, they naturally have unspeakable jealousy in their hearts. Zhao Ying walked quickly towards her yard. Wu Lizheng followed closely, for Zhao Ying, at this moment, she couldn't wait to tell her mother the good news. Back home, Zhao in the yard has been looking forward to it. Inger, how is your brother? Zhao immediately stood up and asked with a nervous face. Mom. Brother is still alive and well, and you can never imagine how powerful brother is now. Zhao Ying said excitedly, and her beautiful face became flushed. Hearing that Zhao Feng was still alive, Zhao was relieved. It's good that your brother is alive. Is there any news about when your brother will come back? Zhao asked again. The Zhao family. Then I'm afraid your Zhao Feng will hardly come back in the near future. Wu Lizheng said with a smile. Uncle Wu, did Feng'er do something? Zhao asked in surprise. Let him tell you, but you must be prepared and don't be scared. Wu Lizheng said with a smile. Zhao still looked puzzled, and her eyes fell on Zhao Ying. Mother. My brother has become a general of the Qin dynasty. Zhao Ying said excitedly. General? Zhao was stunned, with a puzzled look on her face, and there was surprise. What general? It's the general who leads troops to fight. Zhao Ying replied with a smile. This excited look shows how happy Zhao Ying is at this moment, happy for her brother. Did you get the wrong person? Feng'er has been enlisted for less than a year. Even if he has made some military achievements by chance, he should not become a general. Zhao said inexplicably. Mother. I didn't believe it at first. But you see, the imperial records have come down, all the military exploits that my brother has made are recorded on it, and my brother has not only become a general, but also been granted the title of Xuanhuan. Do you know what level of title this is? This is a 10th level title. Our family will have thousands of acres of fertile land in the future, and my brother can inherit these lands hereditarily if he has a son. Look quickly. Zhao Ying raised the bamboo slips in her hand happily, and then handed them to Zhao. The two brothers and sisters learned to read from Zhao, so Zhao was naturally literate. Zhao took the bamboo slips, opened it and looked at it carefully. The words on it were taken into her eyes. When she finished reading them all, Zhao's face was also filled with a look of astonishment. How is this possible? Zhao held the bamboo slips in her hand and said in disbelief. Zhao's. This is true. Your Feng boy has made a name for himself and became a general. You will enjoy your life in the future. Wu Lizheng said with a smile, but Zhao's face was not too happy, but there was a worry in her heart. If I could choose, I would not even let him go to the army. Mother. It's useless to say so much now. Brother has already made so many achievements. And the officer who just distributed the annual salary also said that the current king also values brother very much. He directly issued a royal decree to publicize brother's military achievements to the whole army. Brother is now the youngest general in the Qin kingdom. Over the years, our family is still thanks to Grandpa Wu for giving us 3 acres of land to farm. In the future, we will have more land and can collect rent. We don't have to work so hard. And do you know how much brother's salary is? Now it's a full 800 stones a year. Then I can buy some better medicine for you to recuperate. Zhao Ying said very happily. Zhao Ying didn't care much about any power. What she cared about was that she could let her mother live a better life. After that year, I'm afraid your brother won't be able to retire. Zhao said disappointedly. Originally, her biggest expectation was that Zhao Feng would serve in the army for 2 years and then return home to live, but as Zhao Feng was promoted to deputy general and then general, the 2 years of service became an empty talk. Those who retired after 2 years of service were the most ordinary soldiers, not elite soldiers. Even elite soldiers could not retire, let alone the very rare generals who commanded troops. It is definitely impossible to retire. But when Feng boy settles down, he will definitely come back to see you. Wu Lizheng said with a smile. Mom. Now that my brother is fine, why are you still so depressed? Looking at Zhao Shi who looked worried, Zhao Ying said with a smile. I'm glad your brother is fine. Zhao Shi just agreed, but looking at this, it was obvious that she had a lot on her mind. It was with great difficulty that Fenger and Inger survived the whirlpool, and now Fenger has such an opportunity and has become a general. I hope Fenger will never go to the whirlpool again. If people find out, Fenger, Inger and the others will be in danger. If possible, it would be great if our family could live here forever and never go out. Zhao sighed in her heart. At this time, Wu Lizheng said, by the way, Zhao family, you also need to prepare. That Lord Chen Fan just said that Feng Xiaozi's salary will not be paid by him, but by the county guard. Maybe the county guard will arrive tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. Don't worry, Grandpa Wu, I will be ready. Zhao Ying replied immediately. Also, from the Zhao family. I want to discuss something with you. Wu Lizheng looked at Zhao with some hesitation. Looking at Wu Lizheng's appearance, Ms. Zhao smiled slightly. Uncle Wu, if it hadn't been for you, our mother, daughter and Fenger might not be alive today. Your kindness in taking in and caring for us will last forever. We'll never forget it. I said it at the beginning. Uncle Wu saved our lives. Fenger and Inger are both your grandchildren. No matter what happens to you, our family will never refuse. From these words, we can hear Zhao's gratitude to Wu Lizheng. Wu Lizheng also smiled smoothly and said, it's not about other things. Your family has made a fortune. If you have a 10th level title, you will have thousands of acres of fertile land. However, there are more than a dozen families in our village who don't even have enough land to plant. Compared with those rich households have to pay high rents for renting. I wonder if you can make it a little cheaper and give them some fertile land for planting. At least the rents will be lower than those outside. Uncle Wu. You don't need to discuss these matters with me. We, mother and daughter, don't understand these things at all. If there really is so much fertile land, just follow the arrangements. Mrs. Zhao smiled slightly and didn't take it to heart at all. As long as you say this. I thank you on behalf of the needy households in the village. Wu Lizheng said with a smile, I have to say, this Wu Lizheng is indeed worthy of being called highly respected. Now he is nearly 60 years old, which is considered a long life in this era. He once had 3 sons, but all of them died on the battlefield. His former wife was happy, but now he is alone, because all his sons died in battle for the country and had meritorious service. The titles and fields of the 3 sons were all attributed to Wu Lizheng, and they were not returned to the state until 100 years later. But Wu Lizheng did not hold on to the dozens of acres of land at all. Instead, he evenly distributed it to needy households in the village and those with a large population, and he only left 2 or 3 acres of land for planting. Even the fields planted by the Zhao family were given by Wu Lizheng. At this age, he has no enjoyment in his heart. He has experienced too much, and now he just wants to make the poor villagers in the village live a better life. This time, there were sounds of footsteps outside the yard. Many villagers who had always been friends with the Zhao family gathered over, and of course some came to watch the fun. Now that the Zhao family has a general, he is a big shot in Sha village and even in the entire Shacun county. Naturally, many people are trying to please him. Congratulations from the Zhao family. Your boy Zhao Feng is coming of age. Yes. Your boy Zhao Feng has become a general. We are here to congratulate you. You won't have to live so hard in the future. One by one, the aunties walked into the courtyard and congratulated Mrs. Zhao. Looking at these people, Mrs. Zhao responded to them one by one with her usual smile. Xianyang, inside Zhongtai Palace. Ying Zheng sat on the throne, and in front of him were several important ministers of the Qin dynasty. However, these important ministers had different expressions at this moment, and each of them had memorials in their hands that were being circulated. Have you finished reading it all? Ying Zheng asked. Return to the king. I have finished circulating it, Wang Wan replied respectfully. How about General Zhao Feng's strategy? Ying Zheng glanced around and asked. I think so. If the hidden dangers of reorganizing the reduced soldiers are too great, it is better to demote the reduced soldiers to slaves. Firstly, there is no need to pay a salary and avoid the loss of money and food in the national treasury. Secondly, because the hidden dangers are too great. If it is really reorganized in this way, the national strength will be greatly reduced. There will also be a lot of losses, Wang Wan said directly. I think General Zhao Feng's strategy is feasible. Since ancient times, there have been many strategies for battlefield attacks. As for the military strategy, Han has been destroyed and the country has no existence. It has been transformed into Yingchuan County of our great Qin. Strictly speaking, the soldiers surrendered by Han are also our subjects of the great Qin. This is what General Zhao said. With words, we no longer have the trouble of reorganizing and lowering our troops. In the past, they surrendered and then rebelled. In the final analysis, the mother country still existed, so they did not really surrender. But now that Han has died, do they still dare to rebel? Our Daqin law will implicate his entire clan. If he dares, then kill the chicken to scare the monkeys with the order of the whole clan. Again. The reorganization of the surrendered soldiers is absolutely beneficial to our great Qin. The great Qin aims to destroy all the countries and unify the world. Every time a country is destroyed, a large number of surrendered soldiers will be collected. These surrendered soldiers who have retreated from the battlefield are all very powerful. Is far better than our Daqin retraining new soldiers, and the loss of national power is also less. The reorganization strategy proposed by General Zhao is to reduce the soldiers to soldiers before they are transformed into warriors. Our Qin dynasty only pays them a full day of food and does not need to pay a salary. This also avoids a huge loss of national power. Wei Liao stood up and agreed. Compared to conservatives like Wang Wan, Wei Liao, as a disciple of Gigu, is naturally very open-minded and innovative. The reorganization strategy proposed by Zhao Feng was immediately recognized by him and felt feasible. Ting Wei, tell me. Ying Zheng did not make a direct decision and looked at Li Si again. Although I don't know much about military dispatch, let alone military reorganization. But the Xiaofu came from Gigu, and he is familiar with military strategies. His views on the army are naturally far beyond those of us who live in the court, so I think the Xiaofu is right. Li Si said with a fist, these words. Indeed, he said a lot, but he did not express Li Si's meaning, but echoed Wei Liao's meaning, and also criticized Wang Wan for being a person in the court and not understanding at all. I have to say, Li Si's words are really a double entendre. He is worthy of being a minister in the court. Listening to Li Si's words, Wang Wan's old eyes flashed with dissatisfaction, but he did not dare to be too much in front of the King of Qin. Maybe the Xiaofu is right, but it will take time to prove all this. Wang Wan glanced at Li Si. At this time, Wang Jian, who had never spoken, spoke. This time, there was a military discussion, and Wang Jian and Meng Wu were naturally among them. I second Zhao Feng's plan. I have been in the army for many years, and this plan is feasible. Wang Jian directly expressed his attitude. Hearing this, Ying Zheng smiled slightly. General, what you said makes sense. Zhao Feng's plan is indeed feasible. This plan is to remove the firewood from the bottom of the pot and attack the heart. First, all the surrendered soldiers of Han have lost their motherland. They have nowhere to escape. Their families are under the control of our great Qin. If they rebel, their entire family will be killed. Second, Zhao Feng tempted the surrendered soldiers to become the real elite soldiers of our great Qin. Killing the enemy and making meritorious deeds can make them elite soldiers. Every surrendered soldier is given the opportunity. I believe that no surrendered soldier can refuse. This is also another manifestation of the military merit system for surrendered soldiers. Ying Zheng said slowly. It seems that he has summoned important ministers to discuss, but in fact, these words have made Ying Zheng decide to agree with the plan proposed by Zhao Feng. The king is wise. Wei Liao was the first to speak in agreement. Other ministers in the hall also echoed, Your Majesty is wise. General. Pass on my imperial edict, allowing Zhao Feng to implement this strategy. Give him time. If he can really make the surrendered soldiers form combat power for our great Qin, I will reward him. Ying Zheng said in a deep voice. I receive the imperial edict. Wang Jian said immediately. Report to the king. I have something to report. It concerns the state of Zhao. Wei Liao spoke at this time. Speak. Ying Zheng looked at Wei Liao. I have received some news. The state of Zhao seems to have the intention to mobilize troops against other countries. Now the most elite border troops of the state of Zhao have been mobilized, and Lian Pe and Pang Yuan of the state of Zhao seem to be heading to Handan. Wei Liao said in a deep voice. Zhao Yan. When mentioning the state of Zhao, Ying Zheng thought of Zhao Yan, and a hint of coldness appeared on his face. He has gained power in an illegitimate way, and the court and even the people are constantly discussing him. The only way for Zhao Yan to change this situation is to expand outward and expand territory. It's not surprising that he wants to mobilize troops. Ying Zheng smiled faintly. He has seen through Zhao Yan's purpose. Your Majesty is right. This Zhao Yan is eager to expand territory to prove himself, but he dare not do it. Because of my great Qin, what he fears most at the moment is my great Qin, and the king. If he mobilizes troops, what he is most worried about is naturally my great Qin will take the opportunity to mobilize troops against him, so Zhao Yan will definitely not dare to mobilize troops before ensuring that my great Qin will not mobilize troops against him. Li Si said with a smile. I want Zhao to mobilize troops. Ying Zheng said with a serious face, looking at the ministers. The king of Zhao should be thinking the same thing right now, and is eager to sign a non-aggression pact with our great Qin in order to gain an opportunity to mobilize troops. I think we can send envoys to Zhao to make it clear that our great Qin wants to form an alliance without attacking. Wei Liao said immediately. Zhao wants to form an alliance with our great Qin at this moment in order to attack other countries and expand territory, so what reason should our great Qin give? Ying Zheng looked at Wei Liao and asked. Wei Liao bowed and smiled. Yingchuan is unstable. If you spread the news to the outside world, the remnants of Han in various places in Yingchuan will continue to cause chaos, and our great Qin will lose its national strength and its military will be exhausted. Then deliberately exaggerate the news that our great Qin is afraid that Zhao will attack our great Qin border and support Han, so that Zhao Yan will be relieved of his vigilance and form an alliance with our great Qin. Hearing this, Ying Zheng's eyes lit up and he smiled. As expected of my Giguzi, this strategy is good. As long as my great Qin shows weakness, Zhao Yan will definitely fall into the trap. In his heart, he wants to form an alliance with my great Qin to avoid being attacked from behind by my great Qin. He will first let him sign an alliance with other countries to attack. When the battle cannot be withdrawn, my great Qin will directly attack Zhao and will surely capture many cities of Zhao. Hearing the voice, all the ministers bowed to Ying Zheng and understood the thoughts of this young king. Your Majesty is wise. All the ministers said in unison. The layout will be left to Wei Qing. This matter is only known to me and the ministers. If it is spread outside, I will never forgive it. Ying Zheng said in a deep voice. I understand. The ministers immediately responded, and Wei Liao also accepted the order with pleasure. After the rumors spread, we need a capable minister to go to Zhao to seek an alliance. Does anyone recommend anyone? Ying Zheng asked again. Please report to the king. I recommend Shang Qin Yao Jiao. He is a great debater. Since he joined our Qin, he has been thinking hard about serving the king. Now he finally has the opportunity. I believe he will never let the king down. Li Si immediately reported. Hearing Yao Jia's name, Ying Zheng looked a little thoughtful. My thoughts can't help but go back to the past, back then. Yao Jia was once a minister of Zhao. In the name of the former king of Zhao, he united Chu, Han, and Wei to attack Qin. He was indeed capable, but after that, he was sent to Qin as an envoy and was expelled by Zhao. After entering Qin, Yao Jia was valued by Ying Zheng for his eloquence and ability, so he was appointed as Shangqing and given a fief of 1,000 households. When Yao Jia entered Qin, naturally, it also caused a lot of discussion. Among them, the famous Han Fei said, Liang's thief, Zhao's exiled minister. You can see the irony of this sentence. Perhaps, This is also why Yao Jia and Li Si poisoned Han Fei to death in history. Han Fei's words were also a deep reason for Yao Jia to be poisoned to death. When going to Zhao State, a person of prominent status should represent our great Qin, which can better show that our great Qin is forced to seek an alliance. I recommend Chongping Junmi Qi. In terms of status, he is the father of the eldest son's mother, and in terms of status, he is the senior minister of our great Qin. It is more appropriate for Chongping Jun to go as an envoy. Xuanhuan stood up and proposed loudly. Obviously, he also wanted to compete with Li Si. Hearing Xuanhuan's words, Ying Zheng also looked thoughtful. Xuanhuan and Li Si looked at Ying Zheng anxiously. As ministers of the great Qin, the court is now clear and under the control of the king. If they want to prosper as ministers, they can only rely on the king, so they only have the right to propose. What the Prime Minister said is very true. Going as Chongping Jun will indeed make Zhao Yan believe that our great Qin is forced to seek an alliance. After a while, Ying Zheng slowly spoke. Hearing this, Xuanhuan immediately showed his joy, while Li Si was slightly disappointed. If this mission succeeds, it will be a great achievement. Although Chongping Jun has some ability, he is also from the army and is not completely eloquent in the mission, but Yao Jia is eloquent. Send me a secret decree. Appoint me Qi as the chief envoy and Yao Jia as the deputy envoy. When Wei Qin completes the layout and the time comes, the two of you will immediately go to Zhao as envoys. Ying Zheng said immediately, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. Li Si, who originally thought that his recommendation was useless, was also smiling at this moment. Your Majesty is wise. Xuanhuan and Li Si looked at each other and replied in unison. Father. Han Fei has been imprisoned in the imperial edict for nearly half a month. I wonder how your father will deal with him. Your son has long heard that Han Fei is a great talent of the time. If he can be used by our great Qin, it will surely strengthen our great Qin's national strength. Fusu stood up and bowed. As soon as these words fell, Li Si in the hall felt uneasy and his brows suddenly tightened. It is indeed true. Fusu is trying to win over Han Fei. Li Si's hands in his sleeves could not help but tighten. Li Si was very clear about the talents of his classmate. If Han Fei was really used by Fusu, it would definitely not be a good thing for him. Another great talent of the legalists, used to deal with him. Li Si instantly understood Fusu's intention. Your Majesty. I once studied with Han Fei at the Jixia Academy and studied under teacher Xuanzi. In my opinion, Han Fei has always been loyal and righteous. It must be difficult to get him to return to the Qin dynasty with peace of mind. Li Si immediately stood up, showing a helpless look, and said as if he understood Han Fei. Then according to what the court official said, Han Fei cannot be used by me. Ying Zheng looked at Li Si and said, Han officials were brought with Han Fei, but those who were willing to surrender and capable had been assigned tasks, and their families would be taken to Qin as hostages. Those who were unwilling to surrender, those with higher positions were directly executed, and their family members were demoted to slaves, but Han Fei was the only one. After Han Fei was captured in Qin, Ying Zheng never summoned him, but locked him in the imperial prison and ignored him. Perhaps it was to polish Han Fei so that he could be used for his own purposes when he was summoned later. Father. I think Han Fei is a talented person with his own pride. As long as we can reason with him and move him with emotion, we will surely let him be used by Qin. I am willing to persuade Han Fei to surrender on behalf of my father. Please allow me. Fusu bowed and asked directly. Seeing this, Li Si was anxious and walked out immediately. Your Majesty, Han Fei is my classmate and a close friend for many years. I am willing to go and persuade him. Looking at the two people in the hall who were rushing to persuade Han Fei to surrender, Ying Zheng glanced at them. When he saw Fusu, a slight disgust flashed in his eyes, but it was gone in a flash. It was just a moment. Ying Zheng set his eyes on Li Si. The court judge will go for me. I accept the order. Li Si responded immediately, and his eyes glanced at Xuanhuan with a sense of pride. Fusu retreated to the side with some disappointment. Xuanhuan looked at him with a worried look, after the ministers left. Xuanhuan. Fusu. Again and again. Ying Zheng stared outside the hall and coldly spat out two names, which seemed to have a deep meaning. When Zhao Gao, who was serving on the side, heard it, there was no change in his expression, but he was happy in his heart. In the palace, Fusu and Xuanhuan walked side by side. "My lord, you were just impatient. You must not ask the king to persuade Han Fei to surrender," Xuanhuan said with a worried look on his old face. "Why?" Fusu asked puzzledly. "Do you know what the king cares about most?" Xuanhuan asked. Fusu thought for a moment and said, "Power. It is power. And forming a clique for personal gain is even more taboo for the king. Han Fei is a prisoner and has not surrendered to our great Qin. You are so enthusiastic about Han Fei, and you are showing too much. Although you are the eldest son, you are not the crown prince after all. If you mention this matter, it is full of the intention to win over Han Fei for your use. Even if you want to do it in your heart, you can't show it in front of the king." Xuanhuan said with a sigh. "No wonder my father chose Li Si to persuade him to surrender. I have offended my father here." Fusu looked suddenly. "At the beginning, I wanted you to get the military power to pave the way for your promotion to the crown prince, so I ordered people to spread the news that the king intended to marry you to the daughter of the royal family. This fact was a test of the king by me. The king did not stop it and was happy to see it happen in the court that day. It can be seen that in the king's heart, you are very important. So you don't need to worry about what happened today. In the future, you must be careful not to show too much in front of the king, and you must not show that you want to fight. There is no father and son in the royal family, only power. You must remember this in your heart." Xuanhuan said very seriously. Fusu nodded and bowed, saying, "Thank you, Prime Minister Wang, for your teaching. You don't need to do this, my old minister will do his best for you. Although you don't have the opportunity to meet Han Fei in person this time, at least your grandfather got the opportunity to go to Zhao State as an envoy. As long as Changping Jun makes contributions, the credit belongs to you. Li Si, after all, is not as powerful as you in the court. He can't beat us." Xuanhuan sneered, and at this time, Li Si walked back slowly. When he saw Xuanhuan and Fusu talking, Li Si didn't even stop. The court judge is really proud. The eldest son is here, but he doesn't know how to greet. Watching Li Si passing by, Xuanhuan frowned and said coldly, "Why do you want to pay respect? Although the eldest son is a son, he is not the crown prince. If I want to pay respect, I should pay respect to the king and the crown prince. In terms of official rank, Master Fusu is not as good as me." Li Si turned his head and replied with a bit of coldness, then he turned around and left. From this attitude, we can see how incompatible Li Si and Xuanhuan are, and they don't even hide it. Chapter 97 Han Fei. The county governor comes in person. Shacun is shocked. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In prison. In a separate prison, Han Fei was drinking and reading a book. Although he was a little sloppy, he didn't look like a prisoner at all. As a smart man, Han Fei naturally knew that he was locked up here and was served with good wine and meat, which showed what King Qin meant. Now he just needs to wait for King Qin to summon him, and at this moment, on the other side of the prison, two sets of eyes fell on Han Fei. "Ting Wei, did you really do that?" Yao Jia looked a little worried. "You don't want to?" Li Si frowned and looked at Yao Jia with some dissatisfaction. "My subordinate is a Ting Wei person, so naturally I am willing," Yao Jia said immediately. "Fusu and Xuanhuan have already planned to win over Han Fei. If Han Fei is allowed to leave the prison alive, he will definitely be our enemy in the future. Others may not know his ability, but I know it best," Li Si said seriously. Said Ting Wei. "Of course I want to get rid of Han Fei quickly, but to you, he is your classmate and friend," Yao Jia said meaningfully. Hear the words. Li Si, however, did not show any concern at all. His face was filled with coldness. It's a matter of life and fortune, so what about classmates and friends? "Are you all ready?" Yao Jia immediately shouted to the back, "Go." I saw a few jailers holding wine and tables and heading towards the imperial prison where Han Fei was. In the prison, Han Fei looked at the guards who suddenly arrived very calmly. Brother Han. I haven't seen you for many years. Do you still remember me? Li Si walked over slowly, with a smile on his face. Brother Li. Hearing Li Si's voice, Han Fei said very calmly. Li Si didn't hesitate and walked directly to Han Fei and sat down. We said goodbye to Jixia Academy in the past. I never thought that meeting again would be like this. When we parted ways, I said that only the Qin dynasty has the opportunity to unify the world. Only the King of Qin has the ability to unify the world. But in the end, you still don't believe it and insist on returning to Korea. But what will be the result? The King of Han does not value you, and is even more suspicious of you. As soon as he sat down, Li Si said with a sigh, but there was also a sense of pride as a winner in his words. When I was in Jixia Academy, an elder who is a teacher, down to all students, everyone thinks that Han Fei's talent is better than that of Li Si, and everyone thinks that Han Fei's achievements will be better than that of Li Si in the future. At that time, Li Si secretly vowed to change this situation one day, but now the situation has been reversed. He, Li Si, has become a court lieutenant of the Qin dynasty, ranking among the 9th ministers, while he, Han Fei, is now a prisoner. Looking at Han Fei, who was now in a bit of a mess, Li Si looked concerned, but naturally he felt a sense of pride in his heart. Hearing the connotation in Li Si's words, Han Fei still looked calm, and then said, Brother Li, are you here today to watch Han Fei's jokes? You and I have been classmates for many years. Li Si is here to see a joke or something. Can't Brother Han understand? Li Si said with a sad tone. All ears. Han Fei still looked at Li Si calmly. Don't know why, maybe it was because Zhao Feng specially reminded Han Fei to be careful about Li Si when he was separated from Zhao Feng that day, or maybe it was because of some kind of trust in Zhao Feng. Seeing his classmates and friends for many years again, Han Fei felt an unspeakable estrangement. For him, he still felt a bit wary at this moment. Well. Li Si sighed with a look of helplessness on his face. Do you know why the king locked you up here alone but didn't see you? How can I know what King Qin is thinking? If the King of Qin wants to kill me, Han Fei, an edict is enough. Han Fei smiled faintly. At this moment, he had already thought about it. If the King of Qin wanted him to live, then he would live. If the King of Qin wanted him to die, he would. No fear. What the king wants is your attitude. The attitude of surrender and disobedience. Although we have been separated for many years, I also understand you. You maintain your loyalty and will never surrender to Qin. In the end, perhaps the only option is death. Under Qin's laws, you may even be sentenced to brutal death. Li Si sighed. In words, he still showed concern for Li Si, but the loyalty mentioned in his words seemed to have made a choice for Han Fei. Li Si, you really want me to die? How can Zhao Feng really predict the future? Do you want me to be careful about Li Si? How could Han Fei, a smart man, not understand the meaning of Li Si's words? If it hadn't been for Zhao Feng's continuous enlightenment for several days, Han Fei would have been determined to die. But after Zhao Feng's sharp words, Han Fei's original thoughts also ushered in a change. Live and see the unification of the world, live and see what the world will be like in the future without war. It seems that Brother Li really knows my feelings, right? Han Fei smiled faintly and said with a hint of sarcasm. I have been classmates for many years, and I can't bear to see Brother Han's head disappear. Your Majesty has made up his mind and highly respects Brother Han's talents. Even if I have the intention, I can't save Brother Han. Li Si said with a helpless tone, looking at Li Si's somewhat artificial and disguised appearance. Han Fei sneered in his heart, but on the surface he said calmly, so what are you going to do, Brother Li? We were classmates, and Li Si doesn't want to see Brother Han's body and head separated. This time, Li Si is here to see Brother Han off. Li Si pushed the wine pot on the table towards Han Fei, and then picked up the wine pot and poured a glass of wine. The meaning is already very clear. Brother Li is really thoughtful. You actually prepared poisoned wine for me. Han Fei took a look and showed a faint smile on his face, but this smile was a kind of ridicule that completely saw through Li Si, and Li Si was still performing on his own, and didn't notice Han Fei's expression at all. This can be regarded as Li Si's fulfillment of the friendship between classmates for brother Han. Li Si sighed. If the King of Qin knew that you sent me poisoned wine, would he blame you? Han Fei suppressed the coldness in his heart and said along Li Si's steps. Now that Li Si is the chief judge of the Qin dynasty, even if the king is angry, he will not be severely punished. If you can make brother Han go easier. Li Si, everything is worth it. Li Si said sincerely, I have to say, Li Si is not only a capable minister, but also a good actor. If Han Fei had not been influenced by Zhao Feng and reminded by Zhao Feng, he might really think that Li Si was really doing good for him. It seems that Brother Li really remembers the friendship with Han Fei when he was a classmate. Han Fei also pretended to sigh and sigh. Li Si still looked sincere. In order not to embarrass Brother Li, Han Fei decided to surrender to Qin and submit to the King of Qin. No matter what, Han Fei will never let Brother Li suffer for Han Fei. Han Fei said immediately. As soon as these words fell, Li Si, who was originally sad, became stunned. Brother Han, you want to surrender to Qin? Li Si said in astonishment. Yes. Brother Li treats me so well, I must not let Brother Li be implicated. Again. After being in prison for so long, Han Fei has also figured it out. Indeed, the only country in the world that has the best chance of unifying the world is the Great Qin. Apart from the Great Qin, other countries do not have the chance to unify the world. Perhaps, Han Fei's choice back then was wrong. Now that there is an opportunity, the King of Qin also values Han Fei very much, and Brother Li, a classmate, is in the court. Han Fei thinks about it and does not want to disappoint the King of Qin and Brother Li. Han Fei said with emotion, as if he had seen through it completely, and listening to this, Li Si's expression was completely stunned, and his heart was even more surprised and puzzled. What's going on? Why did Han Fei's mind change like this? Hasn't he always claimed to be loyal and righteous, and always said that he wanted to coexist with Han? Why is it like this today? Could it be that my concern for him this time made him reluctant to implicate him? Han Fei's words made Li Si doubt himself, but at this moment, seeing Han Fei's sincere face and Han Fei's determination to submit to the Qin dynasty, Li Si was silent for a long time before he spoke slowly with a reluctant heart, smiling. Brother Han, it would be best if you can figure it out. The Qin dynasty is the powerful country that can unify the world, and the king is the only king with great talent and strategy worthy of Brother Han's service. But Li Si is really curious. Why did Brother Han change so much? Didn't Brother Han always say that loyalty and righteousness exist and coexist with the country? Li Si asked back with a puzzled look, and the curse in his heart can be imagined, but Han Fei still looked sincere, and did not show any hostility to Li Si at all, but expressed his heartfelt sigh. After all, although I am a member of the Han royal family, I am only a side branch. My nephew, who is known as the Orthodox King of Han, has surrendered, and the king has surrendered. What's the point of me being a minister? This statement, obviously did not come from Han Fei's mouth. This tone and manner were clearly spoken by Zhao Feng. In the days when he was with Han Fei, Zhao Feng used all kinds of words to criticize Han Fei every day, and these words also made Han Fei, who claimed to be loyal, speechless. Today, Han Fei used this word to deal with Li Si. Sure enough, after hearing Han Fei's words, Li Si seemed to have nothing to refute. The king of a country has surrendered. What can you, as a minister, compete with? It seems that Li Si's visit today is redundant. Brother Han, I hope you can figure it out. One day, my great Qin can have another pillar. Li Si said with a smile on his face, looking happy for Han Fei, but in his heart he could be said to be cursing constantly. Han Fei changed like this. This made the King of Qin, who originally wanted Han Fei to drink the poisoned wine himself and then directly report that Han Fei was unwilling to surrender and commit suicide, have no way to deal with it. After all, he was an important official of the Qin dynasty, and the King of Qin would not do anything to him for Han Fei. Li Si was very Confident about this, but now Han Fei's transformation made Li Si somewhat helpless. Do you want to poison Han Fei to death? A cold light flashed in Li Si's eyes. It has come to this point, if Han Fei really turned to Xuanhuan and Fusu, it would not be a good thing. Moreover, even if he did not turn to Xuanhuan and others, if they really served as officials in the same palace, Li Si would still be very worried in the court one day. Jealousy, perhaps this is the original sin, but at this moment. Han Fei said another word, which completely made Li Si helpless. A few days ago, a Qin Shangqin came to see me in prison, claiming to be a disciple of the eldest son of the great Qin, named Xuanhuan. I wonder if Brother Li knows him. I have expressed my willingness to submit to the great Qin to him. I think it won't take long for him to express Han Fei's heart to the King of Qin. Han Fei said with a smile. Hearing the name of Xuanhuan, Li Si's face changed slightly, and then he forced a smile and said, Xuanhuan, the eldest son of the current left Prime Minister Xuanhuan, I didn't expect him to come to see Brother Han. I never thought that this person had such an identity, but Han Fei underestimated him. Han Fei smiled slightly. Brother Han. Since I, Li Si, am in the court, and you are willing to be loyal to the king, then Li Si should speak for Brother Han. Xuanhuan is the son of Xuanhuan, and Xuanhuan is the leader of the old Qin nobles. He has always regarded foreign guests as a thorn in his side. You must not have much contact with them. Since Brother Han has made his decision, then Li Si will bid farewell first and meet the king to report. This pot of wine should be discarded. Goodbye. As he said, Li Si picked up the poisoned wine, slowly stood up, and walked out of the prison. Then I'll trouble you, Brother Li. Han Fei said with a grateful look, watching Li Si leave. After Li Si left his sight, the fake smile on Han Fei's face disappeared instantly. At this moment, Han Fei fumbled in his arms for a while, and the cloth that Zhao Feng had left for him appeared in front of him. Be careful of Li Si. You really have to be careful of Li Si. He actually wanted to kill me, and he even came to my door to poison me. If it weren't for Zhao Feng's reminder, I might not have been on guard against him at all. And just now when I proposed to surrender to Qin, Li Si's eyes even flashed with murderous intent. He really wanted my life. My good friend who used to be so close to me has become like this. Power can make people become like this. Han Fei thought with some sadness in his heart. Although Li Si hid it well, he couldn't hide his panic, and Han Fei also saw the murderous intent when he heard that Han Fei wanted to surrender to Qin. Otherwise, Han Fei would not have mentioned Xuanhuan's existence at all. The purpose of mentioning it was to make Li Si afraid to act rashly. Obviously, Han Fei succeeded. Outside the prison, seeing Li Si walk out, Yao Jia immediately came forward. Ting Wei, what's up? Looking at Yao Jia, no matter how unwilling Li Si was in his heart, he became helpless at this moment. Han Fei is willing to surrender to the Qin dynasty and submit to the king. What? He wants to submit to the Qin dynasty. Yao Jia's face changed, and he hurriedly lowered his voice and said, the imperial prison is under the jurisdiction of the Tingwei, and I am in charge of the imperial prison. Why don't you just give him to me? After the words fell, Yao Jia also made a gesture of wiping his neck, and the meaning was very clear, don't give Han Fei a chance to surrender. Xuanhuan's son has come to see Han Fei, and Han Fei has also proposed to Xuanhuan that he is willing to surrender to the Qin dynasty. Now Han Fei is willing to surrender, which is exactly what the king wants. If I go to see Han Fei, he will die. What will the king think? Xuanhuan will definitely not miss this opportunity to suppress me. Li Si sighed. I am in charge of the imperial prison, and it seems that I haven't seen Xuanhuan come. Yao Jia looked surprised. Haha. Who is Xuanhuan? It's not easy to arrange for someone to be imprisoned. Li Si sneered, he had no doubts about Han Fei's words. What should we do? Are we going to watch Han Fei become enemies with the court judge in the future? Yao Jia said unwillingly. Han Fei and I are classmates after all, so we can't be enemies. Don't think about the past anymore. Today in the court, I have found a job for you to make merit. As long as you complete it, the king will reward you heavily. Li Si said. When he heard about making merit, Yao Jia's eyes lit up and he immediately said, "Thank you, court judge." Shacun County, Sha Village. Outside the village entrance, hundreds of county soldiers came with more than a dozen carriages. The leading carriage was carrying people. Hearing this noise, the villagers outside the village immediately ran back to the village and reported to Wu Lizheng. "Li Zheng. The government officials are here. A lot of people. There are more people than last time when the annual salary was distributed. Maybe the county governor is coming." A villager shouted excitedly. Hearing the voice, Wu Lizheng also walked quickly towards the village entrance. When he saw the big battle outside the village entrance, Wu Lizheng couldn't help but be stunned. There were more people than last time when the annual salary was distributed, not only county soldiers, but also many servants, and more than a dozen carriages. It didn't look simple, at this time. Chen Fun, the leader of the 500 county soldiers who distributed the annual salary that day, rode his horse and quickly came to Wu Lizheng. "Li Zheng, the county governor is here." Chen Fun turned over and dismounted, smiling. Wu Lizheng's expression became serious. As a Li Zheng of a small village, the highest official he had ever seen in his life was the county magistrate, and he couldn't even see the county magistrate. The county magistrate was the county magistrate's clerk and deputy. The county governor is higher than the county magistrate and is the real official of Shacun County, in charge of Shacun government affairs and punishment. This shows how powerful he is. It is almost impossible for a small village head to meet the county governor. "Are you here to distribute the annual salary to the Zhao family?" Wu Lizheng asked immediately. "Exactly." Chen Fun said with a smile. "General Zhao is our general of Great Qin, and he has made tremendous military exploits for Great Qin. The county guard should come and see it, and not only the county guard, but also the people of Shacun County. The 5 county magistrates all came, and in addition to their annual salary, they also prepared generous gifts for General Zhao. Then I will immediately ask Zhao Feng's mother and sister to come out to greet them." Wu Lizheng said immediately. At this moment he realized that the scene at this time was bigger than he imagined. The 5 counties of Sandhill County, the 5 county magistrates and the county guard all arrived. That boy Zhao Feng is really promising. So many high officials are here. Wu Lizheng thought to himself. Chen Fun immediately spoke. "It doesn't have to be like this. The county governor specifically told me not to let General Zhao's family greet him. The county governor came here for a visit, not for anything else. The county governor will come to the door in person and return the favor. I want to declare the king's favor." Wang Zhao. Wu Lizheng was surprised. General Zhao has worked very hard for the country and has been rewarded by the king. This time it will be distributed along with General Zhao's annual salary. Chen Fun said with a smile. Okay. I'll make arrangements immediately." Wu Lizheng nodded immediately and hurriedly called a villager to inform Zhao, and this time, the county guard's car also stopped at the entrance of the village. A large number of county soldiers came in an orderly manner to protect the county guard. And in the village, mother and daughter Zhao did not delay their daily grinding of herbs because of yesterday's incident. For them, the biggest benefit from yesterday was the news that Zhao Feng was still alive. This is the only thing that gives them peace of mind. At this time, from the Zhao family, "Get ready quickly. Li Zheng just asked me to tell you that the county governor is coming, and there are many senior officials." A villager ran over in a hurry, shouting excitedly. "Is the county guard really here?" Zhao Ying was a little surprised. "Yesterday, I originally thought that Chen Fun was joking, but I didn't expect that it turned out to be true. It's coming. There are many carriages and people outside. The formation is called a big one." The villager said with a smile. "Mother." Zhao Ying looked at her mother. "It's okay, I'm just here to give your brother his annual salary." Ms. Zhao was not as shocked as Zhao Ying, but said very calmly. "Mom, why aren't you scared at all? The sheriff, that is a very big official, the biggest official in our Sandhill County. We civilians would never have had the chance to see this before." Looking at the calm Zhao family, Zhao Ying said with surprise, "My mother behaved as if she had seen a bigger official than the county governor. She was not panicked or anxious at all." Yinger, what are you afraid of? You just think too much. The county guard is also a human being. He is not as scary as you think. Ms. Zhao smiled slightly, and this time, Zhao Ying directly hugged her mother's arm, and then said coquettishly, Mom, tell me, are you a lady from where you come from? You are the only literate person in the whole village, and you have so much knowledge and are proficient in medical skills. In fact, Zhao Ying wanted to ask this question a long time ago, but never had the chance, because since Zhao Ying was sensible, when she was playing with her playmates in the village, she discovered that there were almost no people in the whole village except her own family. Others are literate, literacy, this is a symbol of nobility, and civilians have almost no chance to come into contact with it. Looking at her daughter's sudden question, Mrs. Zhao smiled calmly, Mom is not a lady of the family. It's just that your grandfather used to be a doctor. He traveled all over the world. Naturally, he saw too many things, and Mom also knows a lot. What about Grandpa? Where is my mother's home? I've never heard my mother say that. Zhao Ying was still curious, there was a sad look on Zhao's face, and she seemed to be saying something from her expression. Zhao Ying originally wanted to ask again, but seeing her mother's expression, she knew she couldn't ask anymore. This time, there were sounds of footsteps outside the yard. I saw hundreds of county soldiers arriving outside the courtyard in 2 orderly lines. Each one was holding a sword, but there was no armor on them. War armor is only owned by the elite soldiers of the Qin army, ordinary county soldiers don't have it. From the Zhao family. The sheriff is here. Wu Li was running over quickly, opened the courtyard door and shouted. Only then did Zhao mother and daughter slowly walk over, enter the eyes. A middle-aged man in official uniform walked slowly. When he saw Mrs. Zhao and Zhao Ying, he immediately smiled gently. This must be General Zhao's mother. I am a strict soldier guarding the Shacun county. Mrs. Zhao walked forward slowly, smiled slightly, and made a female salute. The county governor is here in person, I condescend. Seeing how calm Zhao was, she didn't show the slightest hint of timidity. Yan Bing was surprised in his eyes. It seems that Zhao Feng's mother is not simple. Before, she was just an ordinary village woman, but this calm spirit is not as simple as that of a village woman. That's right, she taught the youngest general of the Qin dynasty. It's definitely not simple. Come to your senses. Yan Bing smiled and said, Hey, Mrs. Zhao is overly praised. How can I be condescending? This is the residence of General Zhao. It is Yan Bing's honor to be able to come and visit. General Zhao has made great contributions to the country and captured the king for the country. I have heard all these things. Moreover, General Zhao is highly valued by the king and his name is widely known throughout the army. His future is limitless. In his words, as the governor of Shacun County, Yan Bing was also full of humility. As a governor, Yan Bing could naturally see that the deputy general would never be the end of Zhao Feng, but the starting point. Since the current king spread Zhao Feng's military exploits with the royal edict, it means that the king is very kind and that the current king wants to train Zhao Feng as a new and sharp general of the future Qin. Perhaps one day in the future, Zhao Feng may have the opportunity to become the general of the Qin. The military exploits are widely known, which is the honor that only Bai Qi, the Marquis of Wuhan, had in the past. And in the end, he became the commander of the Qin army. The governor is too kind. My son can make contributions to the country, which is also his honor. Zhao replied with a smile. Mrs. Zhao is indeed righteous. Okay, I won't say much. Come here. Bring up all of General Zhao's annual salary. Yan Bing shouted to the soldiers behind him. Yes. Answered, several county soldiers directly brought 3 wooden boxes and placed them in the yard. Mrs. Zhao. This is General Zhao's annual salary, including the salary of the title and official position, a total of 800 stones. Yan Bing pointed at the 3 boxes and said. Thank you, Lord County Governor, for delivering it in person. Zhao immediately thanked him. Zhao naturally would not refuse anything for something that belonged to her son, which was obtained by her son with his life on the battlefield. In addition, There are also thousands of acres of good farmland for General Zhao's title. Bring up the good farmland deeds allocated to General Zhao. Yan Bing immediately ordered again. Several more county soldiers came forward, more boxes were brought up. Yan Bing opened a box, which was full of bamboo slips. Madam Zhao. Thousands of acres of good land, each acre has a corresponding land deed. And these good lands cover the good land that has not been granted outside the entire Sha village, totaling more than 300 acres. In addition to Sha village, there are 700 good lands in 4 neighboring villages. These have been allocated to General Zhao. General Zhao has one of these land deeds, the county governor's office has one, and there is also a registered copy in the capital. With this land deed, under the Qin law, no one can take away General Zhao's good land, but this good land cannot be sold, it can only be rented out. Yan Bing said seriously, the Qin dynasty has extremely strict control over the land, and Yan Bing is also a kind reminder. I understand. Zhao nodded. In addition to General Zhao's annual salary and good land. This time, I came here to read the king's edict. P.S. 7,000 words are sent, please follow up, please vote for the monthly ticket, and please recommend. Chapter 98 Zhao, I didn't expect to see this again. Fusu is so lucky to have you. You are listening at NavelFull.audio. In addition to General Zhao's salary and fertile land. I'm here this time to read out the royal edict as ordered by the king. At this time, Yan Bing took out the Wang Zhao from Xianyang from his arms, subsequently, unfold the king's edict. Daughters of the people listen respectfully to the king's edict. Hearing the word Wang Zhao, Zhao's eyes flashed with confusion, but she reacted instantly and immediately saluted and knelt down to greet him. Zhao Ying next to her immediately did the same. Surrounding villagers, all the nobles knelt down, so are all the soldiers. When a king's edict comes, he is like a king in front of you. Disobeying the king's edict is equivalent to rebelling against the king. Edict of the King of Qin. Vice-General Zhao Feng has made great contributions to the country, but his mother has no one to take care of her in the countryside. He gives her a craftsman to build a mansion for her, 50 slaves, 100 gold, 10,000 coins, and a ginseng plant that will last for 50 years. Other. 1,000 acres of fertile land belonging to General Zhao Feng will be exempted from land tax for 2 years. Yan Bing read loudly. The content of this royal edict is not long, but it shows the kindness given to Zhao Feng. The daughter of the people takes the imperial edict on behalf of her son. Zhao responded immediately. Yan Bing immediately stepped forward, helped Zhao up, and handed the Wang Zhao into Zhao's hands. Bring up the king's gift. Yan Bing turned his head and shouted behind him, echoed. Only a group of county soldiers were seen, 50 slaves were sent, perhaps because Zhao Feng only had his mother and sister at home. All of these slaves were women, and there were no men, and looking at the appearance of these slaves, they are all trained. They are slaves and will never dare to disobey their master's orders. Except for these slaves, many county soldiers brought up many more boxes, 100 gold, 10,000 money. There is also a 50-year-old ginseng. Mrs. Zhao. The slaves given by the king, as well as the gold and silver, are all here. The slave status of these slaves are also in these boxes. Like the field deed, the slave status deed has been transferred to Shacun County. If these slaves dare to escape and disobey, they can be executed at any time according to Mrs. Zhao's order, Yan Bing said with a stern expression. Targeting these slaves, this can be considered as beating, cutting off the minds of these slaves. Thank you, Lord Sheriff, for reminding me. Ms. Zhao thanked her immediately. After, Zhao naturally invited Yan Bing and the accompanying officials to sit in the hospital, and the latter naturally exchanged thoughtful greetings. After a while, Yan Bing retreated with his subordinate officers. Mom, I'm really convinced. You were able to talk to this county guard for so long. I stood aside and didn't know what to say. Zhao Ying looked at her mother with admiration. It's just some false feelings. This county governor just saw that your brother is young and has potential, so he came to befriend you. If your brother hadn't made great achievements and had potential, let alone the county magistrate, he wouldn't have come. If brother Yu really loses power one day, these so-called honors will be a joke. Zhao said calmly. Hear this. Zhao Ying nodded with some understanding, and then looked at the dozens of maids who were serving in the yard and did not dare to move. Mom, what should I do with these people? Seeing these maids in front of her, Mrs. Zhao also had a look of helplessness on her face. It's really difficult to accommodate so many people. Zhao said helplessly. This time, an older craftsman walked slowly over and said respectfully to Madame Zhao, Madam, we are craftsmen from the county, and we are here to build a mansion for Madam on the orders of the county governor. Mrs. Zhao glanced at the maid in front of her, then looked at the craftsman and asked, I wonder how long the construction period will take. Please rest assured, Madam. The mansion will be completed within a month. The chief craftsman replied immediately. Thank you then. Ms. Zhao thanked her immediately. With so many maids, even if the small courtyard of my own is crowded, I can't squeeze it in, so I can only rely on building a mansion later. Uncle Wu. Can I trouble you with something? Zhao looked at Wu Lizheng again. Just tell me if you have anything. Wu Lizheng replied immediately. There are so many people, so many mouths. Could you please arrange for some people to go to the county town to buy some things for daily life? As for the title fields, I would like to ask Uncle Wu to make some arrangements. Our family can't cultivate much of these fields. We will leave 10 acres of land for our own cultivation. Uncle Wu will help with the rest by renting it out. As for the renting, we can rent it from the same village. If people want to plant, half of the rent will be waived for them, while other villages will rent according to the market rent, Zhao said to Wu Lizheng. From the Zhao family? Are you sure you want to give half of the rent to the same villagers? Wu Lizheng said in surprise. If it were just a few acres of land, the number would not be obvious, but in Sha village there were hundreds of acres, and the number added up to a lot. This is our family's thanks to the folks for their care over the years. Ms. Zhao said with a smile. It's from the Zhao family, don't worry. Leave these things to me, and I'll keep them in good hands for you. Wu Lizheng said immediately, then turned and walked out of the yard. This time, a slightly older maid looked at Zhao and her daughter. He knelt down directly and said, See Madam. All 50 maids knelt down, very respectful. Next, naturally, these maids have been arranged, but the construction of the mansion has not started yet, and it will take time to settle them into the mansion. But looking at the courtyard, Zhao Feng's salary and the rewards from Xianying are enough to support these maids. I never thought that I would be able to see the royal edict issued by your own hands again in my lifetime. Mrs. Zhao held the Wang Zhao in her hand, opened it and looked at the words that were particularly familiar to her. She also had mixed feelings in her heart. Weiqing. The school ground where the military camp is stationed. Point on the general platform. Zhao Feng is wearing a deputy general's armor, with a Longquan sword on his waist. He has a straight figure. After picking up attributes, Zhao Feng is now 1.8 meters tall. And this is not Zhao Feng's limit. I think he will wait until he is fully grown. It can be longer. The young and handsome appearance, the aura of killing on the battlefield, and the deputy general's armor make Zhao Feng even more majestic, and under the general platform, an army of 60,000 stood. Just glance at it, clear layers. The 10,000 generals command the armies under their command and have completed the reorganization of the surrendered soldiers. Each 10,000 generals camp has exceeded the limit of 10,000 troops, and each 10,000 generals camp has 13,000 troops. The extra soldiers were all demoted and reorganized. A casual glance, you can see the difference between those lowered soldiers and sharp soldiers. The soldiers were surrendered without armor. This is the difference between them and the elite soldiers in the army. I want to own a battle armor and become an armored man. The first thing is to break away from the slave body, then kill the enemy and perform meritorious service, and become a true noble warrior. Only in this way will you be awarded the battle armor. Where are the soldiers stationed in Weiqing? After Zhao Feng glanced at it, he shouted with authority. Wind, wind, wind. All around the school grounds, all the soldiers shouted in unison, only, the roar of the wind was mixed with 30,000 Korean surrendered soldiers. Their voices were weak and they had completely lost their morale. After being confused, this originally elite army was also greatly affected, and this scene, the tens of thousands of generals who originally disapproved of the reorganization and reduction of soldiers were even more dissatisfied, but on the general stage, Zhao Feng didn't care, to the soldiers being reorganized at the moment, they were just a group of living zombies. When the mother country dies, there is no place to escape. Although he was reorganized into the army, he was already a slave. For them, there is no future, so how can they have fighting strength and fighting spirit? Alright, Zhao Feng raised his hand, the roar of the wind gradually subsided. From now on, the entire army will repeat my words. Zhao Feng said seriously. 100 guards around the general platform immediately accepted the order in unison. No. This general, Zhao Feng, has been ordered to guard Weiqing. Under past practice, the soldiers who were demoted would not have the opportunity to be reorganized. They would all be sent to the northern border to build the Great Wall and be demoted as slaves to build the Qidao. But now I am in charge of the army, setting a precedent, and reorganizing all your subordinates into the army to serve the Qin dynasty. Zhao Feng said loudly, repeated by the guards. These words spread throughout the army. Only, as for the descendants, they still haven't had much trouble. Ben will know. For you and other surrendered soldiers, even if you are reorganized into the army, you think you will become cannon fodder, unable to get rid of slavery, and unable to live uprightly. But today, I can tell you a piece of news, which is related to all the surrendered soldiers, and even more to all the captured and surrendered soldiers of our great Qin in the future. From now on, anyone who is reorganized into the army and becomes a soldier, kills one enemy for the Qin dynasty, can be pardoned as a slave, and has the salary of an ordinary soldier. If he kills 5 enemies for the Qin dynasty, he can be awarded a title, become a true warrior of Qin, and enjoy the military merits and promotions of the Qin dynasty. Zhao Feng announced loudly. These words are still repeated by the entire army. This time, all the soldiers who heard the news were stunned. They were originally numb, and now a kind of flame of hope was ignited. They originally thought of living a day-to-day life, but now their thoughts also changed. Did the king issue an edict? Didn't the king agree to the strategy proposed by General Zhao to reduce the soldiers and reorganize them? That when Chen Tao, Zhao Tuo and other generals heard this announcement, they couldn't help but be shocked. When Zhao Feng presented this proposal that day, they all felt that this proposal would not be approved by the king, and those surrendered soldiers would be reorganized into cannon fodder by then. Really or not? As long as we kill enemies for the Qin State, we can escape from slavery. Can we also get promoted to nobility by killing enemies? If that's the case, wouldn't there be a chance for us to go home? A chance to see our families again? Isn't this General Qin deceiving us? If he really did this to us, why didn't he do it in the past? Have you never heard of this way of dealing with a surrendered pawn? That for the surrendered soldiers in the army at this moment, most of the surrendered soldiers are looking forward to Zhao Feng's proposal to kill the enemy, break away from the slave status, and enjoy military merit and promotion. However, there are also many surrendered soldiers who do not believe it. After all, deep down in their hearts, they were still wary of Qin. Asked the general. Is this true or false? The reorganized soldier asked loudly. As soon as he said these words, many of the soldiers turned their attention to Zhao Feng on the general stage. Faced this inquiry, Zhao Feng didn't waste any time. He directly took out the Wang Zhao that had been urgently sent from Xianyang and held it high. What I just said is an act that the current king has promised. From now on, the soldiers who have been reorganized into the army and surrendered are collectively called the prisoner army. In the name of the prisoner, they are saying that they have committed crimes. Any prisoner who kills one enemy for the Qin will be pardoned and become an ordinary soldier, enjoying the basic salary of a soldier. Any prisoner who kills 5 enemies after being pardoned can be awarded a first-class title. This is the favor of the current king to the prisoner. Zhao Feng shouted loudly. When these words were repeated by the whole army, looking at the royal edict held high by Zhao Feng, all the surrendered soldiers on the entire parade ground were moved. If this is true, I am willing to fight for the Qin and kill the enemy in exchange for my freedom. That's right. If I can really get rid of slavery and have the opportunity to see my family again, I will kill the enemy for the Qin on the battlefield. Me too. Countless surrendered soldiers discussed, and a light of hope ignited in their eyes. The next moment, these voices gathered completely. Long live the Qin, long live the king. Long live the Qin. At this moment, all the surrendered soldiers shouted loudly. The whole training ground was enveloped by this overwhelming morale, as well as the initial cohesion of the surrendered soldiers. The sharp soldiers in the army were also deeply infected, looking at these surrendered soldiers with surprise, and then joined the surrendered soldiers' shouts, earth-shaking. Are these surrendered soldiers really useful? Is General Zhao's reorganization plan really feasible? Looking at these reorganized surrendered soldiers with a burst of outrageous morale, even Chen Tao and Zhao Tua, who originally opposed it, felt a sense of surprise at this moment. Judging from the military spirit and morale at this moment, Zhao Feng's reorganization plan, the plan of pardoning the surrendered soldiers who killed the enemy, and the plan of military merit seemed to be really feasible, and at this moment, Zhao Feng looked at the generals under the stage and smiled in his heart. The policy of the prisoner army was originally adopted by the Qin State in the process of destroying the 6 countries, but I proposed it in advance. If it is not feasible, it will deny the prisoner army in history. Then, Zhao Feng raised his hand and pressed it. The waves of enthusiastic cheers subsided. The strategy of the prisoner army was first created by me, and I have received the grace of the king to all the surrendered soldiers. It is both a grace and a warning. Any reorganized surrendered soldiers who surrender and then rebel will be killed without mercy and their entire family will be exterminated. Any reorganized surrendered soldiers who desert in battle will be killed without mercy and their entire family will be exterminated. Any reorganized surrendered soldiers who betray their comrades will be killed without mercy and their entire family will be exterminated. This is an iron rule. Any surrendered soldier who violates it will not be tolerated. Zhao Feng shouted coldly. The whole army repeated it. All the surrendered soldiers felt their hearts tighten and raised a level of awe. Before, it was a grace, and this time it was a warning. Generals. From today on, all surrendered soldiers will be trained like sharp soldiers and practice our great Qin battle formation. Zhao Feng shouted in a powerful voice. I will obey your order. Chen Tao, Zhao Tua, and the other 5 generals immediately responded. Military camp, meeting hall. General. This is the rotation inspection record compiled by this general. Xuanhuan took out a bamboo slip and handed it to Zhao Feng respectfully. Zhao Feng took it and looked at it carefully, and nodded with satisfaction. Each battalion guards the border for 1 month, and rotates every month. It is indeed good. I have also read General Zhang's rotation inspection record, and it is indeed feasible. Zhao Tua also agreed. Since you have read it, let's implement it. Weiqing is a border city, and it is also defending the Wei Kingdom. With 10,000 troops guarding the border, if there is a war, the 40,000 troops of Weiqing can also rush to help quickly. Zhao Feng nodded and smiled. General. Now the weather is getting colder, and we still need enough charcoal and cloth to keep warm. Chen Tao said. This matter has been reported to the emperor. In the near future, there should be enough charcoal for the whole army to keep warm. As for thick cloth, I believe the court will also dispatch it. Zhao Feng said, this era. There are not many things to keep warm, mainly charcoal. Then there are thick cloth clothes. As for cotton clothes, they have not appeared at all. They have not appeared in the land of Shenzhou. Cotton clothes are mainly made of cotton, and cotton was introduced to Shenzhou in the Han dynasty. If there are cotton clothes, it will be much easier to keep warm, and the Chinese people will not have to die so many people every winter. It seems that cotton is from the western regions, right? If I really dominate in the end of the Qin dynasty, I must lead troops to the western regions and seize this cotton, so that I can save countless people. Zhao Feng thought secretly in his heart, there is not much to deal with when guarding Weiqing. It is nothing more than training the troops under his command in some military mobilization. This is the Qin army without war. It is not just Zhao Feng, but also the Qin army stationed in other places. Wait until all the generals leave. It has been less than 3 months since the Qin dynasty destroyed Han, and there will be no more wars in the short term. It is recorded in history that the next one should be the destruction of Zhao. This is also the hardest bone to chew in the process of Qin's destruction of the 6 countries. Zhao Feng thought secretly in his heart, familiar with history, Zhao Feng naturally has to integrate into it and make use of it. It was Wang Jian who destroyed the state of Zhao in history. Although I am stationed in Weiqing, I still have the opportunity to go to the battlefield to make merit. Compared to daily training, it is faster to go into battle and kill enemies. Zhao Feng couldn't help but sigh. Then, open your own attribute panel, host, Zhao Feng, age, 16 years old, realm, innate 3rd heaven. The higher the realm, the stronger the true qi, and the stronger the performance of one's own strength. Strength, 2810, the stronger the strength, the corresponding power can be exploded. Speed, 1732, the higher the number, the faster. Physique, 1739, the stronger the physique, the faster recovery from injuries, endless physical strength, and faster recovery of qi. Spirit, 1730, spiritual power can be released 15 feet outward, and cultivation can absorb 15 feet of spiritual energy from the void, heaven and earth. Lifespan, 150 years plus 5 years and 140 days, merit, 563 points, can be converted into free attribute points, can be converted into skill points, portable space, 19 cubic meters, cultivation method, dragon elephant technique, martial skills, dragon subduing palm, exploding fist. This short period of training is not bad. All attributes have increased by nearly 300. More importantly, the true energy has also increased several times, and the strength has been greatly improved. Looking at his own attributes, the accurate values naturally inspired Zhao Feng every day. Practice continuously every day. Moreover, the rich Qinqi in the Dantian is even more impressive. If attributes are Zhao Feng's physical strength, then Qi is Zhao Feng's inner strength, but now his physical body is much stronger than his true energy. In a short period of time, Zhao Feng's cultivation realm increased by 2 levels, which shows that the aura of heaven and earth in this world is considerable, at this time. General. There is someone outside the military camp who wants to see you by name. He claims to be a disciple of the current eldest son. Zhang Ming, the general of the personal guard, arrived and bowed respectfully to Zhao Feng. A disciple of the eldest son. Zhao Feng was stunned for a moment, with an inexplicable look on his face. I have nothing to do with Fusu. Could it be that my father-in-law said something in the court, and asked Fusu to do it because of Yener? Why don't you come to offend me? Think of this. Zhao Feng also seemed to understand. Apart from this, Zhao Feng really couldn't think of any other reasons. So much time has passed. Zhao Feng had no idea what happened in Xianyang, and he also had no eyes and ears. When Zhao Feng's power really takes shape and spreads all over the world, his hands and eyes will reach the sky. My lord, do you want to receive me? Zhang Ming asked again. Bring it in. Zhao Feng waved his hand. He also wanted to see what Fusu wanted to do. Not a moment. A scribe came to the military meeting hall. When he saw Zhao Feng, the scribe glanced at him with a look of arrogance. Are you Zhao Feng? The scribe said to Zhao Feng a little arrogantly. Zhao Feng took a glance. His face was calm, but there was a bit of ridicule in his heart. Are these people in Fusu's sect? At first glance, they look like dogs looking down on others. If you have something to say, go away if you have nothing else to do. Zhao Feng said coldly. From then on, the man's attitude was that of raising an army to hold him accountable, and Zhao Feng would not tolerate him. What about Fusu? Zhao Feng really couldn't be afraid of him. Upon hearing this, the scribe frowned and glared at Zhao Feng with some annoyance. Bold, do you know who I am? How dare you be so rude to me? I am Meng Jia, the eldest disciple of Chen Yuyue, the grand tutor of the current dynasty, who has been designated by your majesty as the teacher of the eldest son. The eldest son and I are from the same sect. How dare you, a warrior, be so rude to me? That the scribe said very proudly. Moving out of Fusu and Qin undoubtedly demonstrated his so-called nobility. In other words, for Zhao Feng, who came from the bottom, and even many generals who came from the bottom, these nobles always have a kind of self-righteousness. Have a arrogant attitude. Listening to the self-introduction of the man named Meng Jia in front of him, Zhao Feng glanced at him and replied calmly, "Oh. What's your attitude? I am here to represent the eldest son, how dare you be so rude?" Meng Jia frowned and said angrily, "As a fellow disciple of the eldest son and the eldest disciple of the current Taifu, Meng Jia used to be treated with courtesy wherever he went, even the generals in Xianyang, but today Zhao Feng's attitude made him uncomfortable and angry. I will tell you something. The eldest son has no military position and is not qualified to give orders to me. If you have something to say, just get out of here." Zhao Feng said coldly. Since this man was sent by Fusu and was so arrogant, Zhao Feng would not tolerate him. "You." Seeing Zhao Feng's unafraid attitude, Meng Jia raised his finger and pointed, even more angry, but looking at Zhao Feng's untroubled look, Meng Jia sobered up and realized that this was Zhao Feng's home field, not Xianyang, and that this time he had an important task assigned to him by the teacher. Moreover, his teacher also said that if this task is completed, the eldest son will definitely be happy and he will be put to greater use. "Are you in love with General Wang Jian's daughter?" Meng Jia asked coldly, in a questioning tone. "None of your business," Zhao Feng replied coldly. "Do you know that your so-called love affair ruined the eldest son's marriage? Originally, the eldest son could be in love with a daughter of the Wang family. Because of your intervention, the eldest son was rejected by General Wang Jian and the marriage was broken. Do you know how big a crime you have committed?" Meng Jia said angrily. Speaking of this, it was as if Zhao Feng had truly committed a heinous crime. Zhao Feng, on the other hand, looked at Meng Jia in front of him like he was a fool. Seriously, Zhao Feng didn't even understand why such a fool would say such a thing, or in other words, could a normal person really say such a thing? Zhao Feng and Wang Yan were in love before, but he actually said that Zhao Feng interfered and ruined the marriage between Wang Yan and Fusu. Looking at the person in front of him, Zhao Feng felt angry and funny at the same time. "Are you really sent here by Fusu?" Zhao Feng asked with a somewhat funny tone. "Nonsense." Meng Jia replied arrogantly. "Fusu is really lucky to have subordinates like you." Zhao Feng sighed from the bottom of his heart. But this blessing is not real blessing. Looking at Meng Jia in front of him, Zhao Feng may have figured out why Fusu in history was so ignorant of flexibility, and why he couldn't compete with Hu Hai even though he had real innate advantages. With the help of these capable people, he wanted to obtain the crown prince. The location is difficult, maybe he can't get that position, and the people around him are also the key reason. Zhao Feng. I've heard stories about you. You have been awarded the title of Deputy General after joining the army for 1 year. You are indeed very powerful, but you have to know that everything you have is given by the royal power. If the king wants it or the eldest son wants it, everything can be taken away from you at any time. Who is the eldest son? He is the future prince and the future king. If you go against the eldest son, you are seeking your own death. Since I'm here today, as long as you report to General Wang Jian that you are no longer in love with his daughter, and that Mr. Fusu is the one who has a good relationship with the Wang family's daughter, I will give you a chance to follow the eldest son. Meng Jia said with a serious face, as if he really wanted to give Zhao Feng a chance to rise to prominence. Zhao Feng did not speak, but slowly stood up from his general position and walked slowly towards Meng Jia. What are you going to do? Looking at Zhao Feng walking over, Meng Jia was a little panicked by this tall figure, but the next moment, there was a snap. Zhao Feng slapped Meng Jia on the face, causing the latter to stagger and fall to the ground. You dare to hit me? Meng Jia covered his face in severe pain and looked at Zhao Feng angrily, but more in disbelief. He was born into the Meng family, a wealthy noble family in the Qin dynasty. Although he was not as powerful as he once was, he was still not weak. Who dared to do this to him since he was a child? Now he was beaten by a little lieutenant. Someone's coming. Zhao Feng drank coldly. Exist. A dozen personal guards immediately rushed into the hall and bowed to Zhao Feng. Just hit me, don't kill me. After the fight, throw them out of the barracks. Zhao Feng shouted coldly. Promise. A dozen personal guards immediately looked at Meng Jia, who was lying on the ground, and then moved their feet and kicked fiercely at the Meng family. Ah! Presumptuous. I am the eldest son of the same sect, and I am the eldest son of Meng, how unruly. Meng Jia screamed in pain, but there was nothing he could do against these guards. P.S. I'm sending you 7,000 words. I'm asking for monthly votes and recommendation votes. The key is to pursue it. I'm very grateful. Chapter 99. The King of Qin is furious. The development of Zhao Feng. You are listening at NavelFull.audio. Under Meng Jia's screams, he had been beaten until his skin was bruised and his face was swollen. The so-called aristocratic attitude of being superior to others could only be filled with panic at this moment. He did not expect that Zhao Feng would dare to order someone to beat him. He didn't care about Fusu's identity at all, let alone the identity of his Meng family. Seeing that Meng Jia's wailing was weakened by the beating, Zhao Feng said, "Okay." The numerous personal guards who took action slowly stopped. If you are really sent here by Fusu, then he is really not qualified as the eldest son. Then you should go back and tell Fusu that if he wants revenge, just come. If you are not sent by Fusu, then tell the person behind you that I am waiting for him. Zhao Feng said coldly to Meng Jia, then waved his hand, "Throw it out." Promise. A few personal guards were not polite and carried the bruised Meng Jia out and threw him outside the military camp. Although Fusu in history was a little pedantic, he was not small-minded, and he was kind and virtuous to the outside world. He sent people to intimidate and induce people. It should not be him who sent this fool. Meng's surname. The three tribes of Meng Shibai. They were once the top nobles in the Qin State, but they have become lonely under today's military merit system. Looking at Meng Jia's figure being carried away, Zhao Feng thought to himself, regarding Fusu, Zhao Feng also knew the historical records. You can say he is pedantic, you can say he is incompetent, but you can never say that he is small-minded. So Zhao Feng felt that this stupid guy was not sent by Fusu, but a fool like Fusu's subordinates. Outside the military camp, plop, Meng Jia was thrown directly to the ground. "Son. Are you okay? You are so impudent, how dare you do this to our young master?" Several of Meng Jia's guards ran over quickly and hurriedly helped Meng Jia up, looking angrily at the guards in front of them, but several of the guards glanced at it, didn't bother to pay attention, turned around and left. Zhao Feng. I, Meng Jia, will remember today's revenge. I won't make it easy for you. Meng Jia looked at the military camp with an angry face, full of hatred for Zhao Feng, but obviously, Zhao Feng didn't care about him at all. If you are in another country, you are not in Qin. Maybe Zhao Feng really has to worry about the power of some nobles, but in the Qin State, these nobles have been completely suppressed by the royal power, and Ying Zheng has also supported many new nobles. The emergence of these new nobles is to cut off the power of the old nobles. Time flies. Zhao Gua, Han Dan. Start the memorial, Your Majesty. The Qin envoy is waiting for the summons outside the palace. Lian Pe stood up and said loudly. Xian. Zhao Yan waved his hand. Your Majesty has an edict, and the envoy of Qin has come to see you. The eunuch serving beside Zhao Yan said loudly, echoed, I saw two men wearing official uniforms of the Qin dynasty walking slowly into the hall. The former was the envoy Mi Qi, and the latter was the deputy envoy Yao Jia. After the two entered the palace, he bowed to Zhao Yan and said, the envoy of Great Qin, Mi Qi, pays homage to King Zhao. Yao Jia, the envoy of the Qin dynasty, pays homage to King Zhao. The two people bowed to worship, their postures were very low. I don't want to talk too much nonsense with you, the Qin State. Let's just say it straight. What did Ying Zheng send you to do? Zhao Yan said with a cold face. Report to King Zhao. The foreign minister, following the king's edict, came here to sign a non-invasion alliance between the two countries with Zhao. Mi Qi said loudly. Ying Zheng wants to sign a non-aggression alliance with me. Zhao Yan was stunned for a moment, and felt happy in his heart, but after a moment, he immediately showed a sneer. you don't know what the relationship between your Qin state and my great Zhao is, right? Your country of Qin signed an alliance with me, Zhao, for no reason. Why? Do you think I am stupid? Mi Qi immediately replied, my king is determined not to offend Qicheng. In the past, there were indeed wars between Qin and Zhao, but it has passed now. I don't think Ying Zheng would be so unprovoked. Let's discuss the covenant matter later. Get back. Zhao Yan waved his hand without any emotion at all. See this, Mi Qi and Yao Jia looked anxious and immediately paid homage to Zhao Yan. Mi Qi gritted his teeth and said loudly, the king of Zhao is above, as long as Zhao is willing to sign a non-aggression agreement with Qin, as a treaty, we, the Qin, are willing to waive 10% of the commercial tax on trade with the Zhao. Hear this, a look of surprise flashed through Zhao Yan's eyes again. The ministers above the Zhao court also showed strange expressions. Did something happen to Qin? Otherwise, why were you so eager to sign an alliance with me? Zhao Yan thought to himself, but Zhao Yan did not dare to make a decision directly before finding out clearly. Although he is not a wise man, he is not too stupid either. Arrange the Qin envoy to rest in the post house. Zhao Yan said loudly, I saw a few imperial guards from the Zhao palace walking into the main hall and pointing outside the hall, 2 envoys from Qin, please. See this scene, both Mi Qi and Yao Jia looked helpless, but facing the guards, he seemed helpless. The foreign minister resigns. After the 2 bowed, they could only retreat with helpless expressions, wait until they leave. My dear friends. Did something happen in Qin? Otherwise, Ying Zheng would not be eager to sign an alliance with me, great Zhao. Zhao Yan looked at the ministers in the court and said. Report to the king. In my opinion, maybe something went wrong in Qin. An old general stood up. It was Zhao General Pang Nuan. Among the 3 generals of Zhao, Pang Nuan was the only one who supported Zhao Yan from beginning to end. Lian Pe and Li Mu originally supported Zhao Yi, but in the end they had to admit that Zhao Yan was the king. Something went wrong in Qin. Zhao Yan frowned, then he thought to himself, could it be that the prime minister has succeeded? No, that's not right. If the prime minister succeeded, the Qin envoy would definitely not fail to mention it. In my opinion, it must be that something happened in Han after Qin annexed Han. Pang Nuan added immediately. Hearing this statement, Zhao Yan nodded slowly. It was at this time. Report. Secret report from Han. A Zhao soldier rushed into the hall in a hurry, holding an unopened secret report in his hand. Hurry up and present it. Zhao Yan shouted immediately. The eunuch beside him immediately went to present the secret report. When Zhao Yan opened it, he was originally confused about Qin's request for an alliance, but now he understood it instantly. Ha ha ha. I was wondering why Ying Zheng suddenly asked for an alliance with my great Zhao. It turned out that it was because of the unrest in Han. The unrest broke out in various places in Han, causing heavy losses to Qin. Even several granaries were burned down. Zhao Yan laughed excitedly. So. Qin was worried that my great Zhao would take the opportunity to attack him, so it asked for an alliance with my great Zhao. Pang Nuan also understood instantly. That's right. Although our great Zhao does not border Han, Wei is adjacent to it. As long as I issue an edict, our great Zhao can send troops from Wei to attack Qin at any time. Now that Han is in chaos, Ying Zheng must be in a mess. Ying Zheng, he is finally afraid of me. Zhao Yan laughed even more proudly. According to me, we cannot sign this alliance with Qin. The chaos in Han may be a fraud. Qin did it deliberately to deceive our great Zhao to sign an alliance with it. At this time, an old general standing at the head of the military officials stood up. It was Lian Pe, a veteran who had experienced several dynasties of Zhao. He was also called the Zhao war god, comparable to the Qin war god by Qi by the people of Zhao. Once upon a time, the Battle of Chongping. Lian Pe led his troops to fight against Bai Qi without losing because Qin used a divisive strategy to make the king of Zhao change his generals on the battlefield, which allowed Bai Qi to defeat the Zhao army and win a great victory in Chongping. After that, Zhao's national strength declined and lost the qualification to unify the world. In the first battle, hundreds of thousands of Zhao's young and strong elites died. This kind of hatred made Lian Po remember it, and countless Zhao people remembered it. Hearing Lian Po's words, Zhao Yan frowned. According to what the old general said, I am so easy to be deceived. I dare not. The Qin people are cunning, so we should be more cautious. Lian Po replied immediately. I will make a decision on this matter. Okay. If you have nothing to do, please adjourn the court first. Pang Qing, you stay for a while. Zhao Yan said loudly. The court officials dispersed, only Pang Yuan was left in the hall. Old General. Do you know why I left you alone? Zhao Yan walked down the stairs slowly, smiling. Your Majesty wants to be a wise king who expands the territory. Pang Yuan smiled and said directly. Ha ha ha. The old general really knows me. Zhao Yan laughed loudly, and then a hint of ambition appeared on his face. Since I took the throne, there have been constant discussions in the court and among the people. The only way to break this discussion is to expand the territory. Ying Zheng destroyed Han, and I can also destroy a country and expand the territory for Zhao. I hope the old general will help me. Said, Zhao Yan's hand fell on Pang Yuan's hand. I am willing to swear allegiance to the king until death. Pang Yuan immediately bowed. I will give you 300,000 troops, secretly go to the border of Yen State, and wait for the opportunity to come, and immediately attack Yen. Zhao Yan's eyes flashed with a coldness. When our great Zhao attacks Yen, the most worrying thing is that Qin will raise troops to attack. This is a secret report, but Lian Po's words must also be considered, and Qin must also be carefully considered. If Qin attacks after the troops are mobilized, our great Zhao will be in danger. Pang Yuan said. Don't worry, old general. I have secretly planned it. As long as it is achieved, I can guarantee that the old general will attack Yen without any obstacles, and Qin will never raise troops against our great Zhao. Ying Zheng is destined to be trampled under my feet. Zhao Yan sneered, with pride between his eyebrows. Qin, Yongqing. As the former capital of Qin, the city defense of Yongqing is exactly the scale of the capital, and its prosperity in the entire Great Qin is second only to Xianyang. In addition, there is also the former Qin palace in the city. If the king of Qin is on tour, Yongqing is also used as a temporary palace, and at this moment, it is under the night, the back door of the Yongqing palace, it is empty when patrolling. The door suddenly opened, a man dressed as a eunuch waved his hand outside the palace gate. Suddenly, dozens of men in black rushed in directly from this side door. And with a clear purpose, they rushed to a part of the harem of the palace, harem. Dehua Palace, where the bedroom of the Queen Mother Zhao Ji of the Great Qin was located. At this moment, the palace was completely dark. There were several maids serving in the palace, but they were all asleep. There were 6 eunuchs standing guard outside the palace. For the king, the harem is a taboo place, and no one is allowed to have authority except the king. Especially after what happened with Lao Ai, the harem was even more strict, and eunuchs were screened at all levels before they could enter the palace, thus eliminating the existence of fake eunuchs. On the other hand, look at Zhao Ji. Ever since Lao Ai rebelled and the 2 evil offspring born to Zhao Ji and Lao Ai were thrown to death, Zhao Ji seemed to be infected with madness. She went crazy and lost her soul. However, precisely because of her status as the Queen Mother, she was constantly taken care of, and the palace was equipped with an imperial doctor and many maids and attendants, which allowed her to survive. However, she needed the imperial physician to prescribe sleeping pills every day to sleep. At this time, under the dark night, more than a dozen eyes fell on the eunuchs outside the Dahua Palace. The next moment, boo-hoo-hoo, suddenly there was a crisp sound of crossbow arrows piercing the air among the black clothes. Before the 6 eunuchs could react, a sharp pain hit them. They struggled to cover their necks with their hands in pain, and all 6 eunuchs had their throats pierced by crossbow arrows. I saw a group of men in black rushing towards me. They were running at full speed, but their steps were very light. They had obviously received special training. They quickly came to the eunuch's side and took out a dagger to strike at the struggling eunuch, until all the eunuchs on duty died. A leading man in black waved his hand. two men in black immediately stepped forward and slowly opened the palace door, and inside the palace, a palace maid heard the commotion and saw the palace door opening. She immediately shouted softly, "Who is it?" Don't wait for the palace maid to come to her senses. A group of well-trained men in black rushed into the palace, sudden murderous intention. The confused palace maid was stunned for a moment, then woke up instantly and shouted, "Assassin, there is an assassin." But he just shouted, a man in black rushed over, the cold light cut through the night, and the palace maid was instantly stabbed through the neck. The other maids in the palace were also awakened. "Assassin! There are assassins! Help me quickly!" Several palace maids shouted in fear, but these men in black rushed over quickly and quickly dispatched several palace maids, and on the bed, Zhao Ji was still unconscious. Several men in black rushed over to take a look, and an eunuch ran in. "This is Queen Mother Zhao Ji, take her away quickly." The eunuch said loudly. Several men in black immediately wrapped Zhao Ji in a quilt and quickly left the palace. As they exit, the eunuch on patrol heard the noise and came closer. When he saw the body in front of the palace, he was shocked. "Quick, there's an assassin. Quickly pass the message to the imperial guards. Quick!" The eunuch shouted in panic. The entire Yongqing palace was in chaos, and not far from the adjacent Zhao Ji palace, it is also a huge palace. After hearing the noise, a graceful lady sat up from the bed. "What happened? Why is it so noisy?" The lady shouted outside the palace, echoed. Several palace maids came quickly and knelt in front of the noble lady. Reporting to the Queen Mother of Huayang, it seems that there is a call for an assassin in the Queen Mother's palace. The palace maid replied respectfully. "Assassin?" Queen Mother Huayang frowned and stood up suddenly. "Assassination of Zhao Ji." At this time, a voice came from outside the hall. Tu Sui, the commander of the Yongqing Imperial Guard, requested to see the Queen Mother Huayang. A heroic voice came from outside the palace. "Xian." Queen Mother Huayang said immediately. Then, several palace maids immediately stood up and pulled back a layer of gauze to cover up the figure of Queen Mother Huayang. At the same time, candlelight was lit in the palace. "The Queen Mother Huayang has an edict, please announce it," the palace maid said loudly. Echoed, a man in armor walked into the hall and bowed to the Queen Mother Huayang. "I will see the Queen Mother at the end." "What happened?" Queen Mother Huayang asked in a deep voice. Report to the Queen Mother Huayang." The Queen Mother was kidnapped. Tu Sui reported with a trembling voice. Queen Mother Huayang's expression changed and she stood up suddenly. "What did you say?" "Zhao Ji was taken away." "You are in charge of 5,000 guards to guard the palace, how could you make such an omission? Go back to the Queen Mother. The Yongqing Palace has a criminal undercover agent. The undercover agent is familiar with the layout of the palace and the time to patrol and change the defense. They were opened by the undercover agent at the back door of the palace and sneaked into the palace during the change of defense. Moreover, these gangsters were extremely skilled. They left more than 20 people to block our imperial guards. 11 of my imperial guards fought with them and died before they were able to deal with these gangsters. Furthermore, our imperial guard still had a numerical advantage. Down. These gangsters are well trained and not just among the civilian population. Moreover, they are all dead soldiers. Originally, I wanted to capture one of them, but by luck I captured 2 of them, but they directly committed suicide by taking poison. I am guilty. Tu Sui respectfully reported. Hear this, Queen Mother Huayang looked thoughtful. Abducted Zhao Ji at night, and there are internal agents. It seems that the plan has been planned for a long time. And the purpose is clear. It's for Zhao Ji. Queen Mother Huayang said solemnly. But I don't understand. After all, the Queen Mother Zhao Ji is only the Queen Mother in name. She has lost her authority since the king took over the throne. What did they do by kidnapping the Queen Mother? Apart from meeting the wrath of the Qin dynasty, what else can they gain? Tu Sui looked surprised and confused. Queen Mother Huayang sneered. Although she has lost the authority of the Queen Mother, she is still Zhenger's biological mother. It would be a bad thing if she was really kidnapped by an enemy country and used to threaten Zheng. Tu Sui's expression changed and he knelt down directly. Please save me, Queen Mother. This thing is too big. If Zhao Ji really fell into the hands of the enemy, the consequences would be too great for Tu Sui to bear. 1. Immediately send people to pursue and blockade the whole city. 2. Immediately send someone to report to the king and explain the cause and effect. Empress Dowager Huayang said solemnly. No. Tu Sui nodded immediately. Commander Tuesday. It's a big deal this time. If Zhao Ji really falls into another country, you will be guilty of a serious crime. But if it really comes to that point, I can only protect your life. If you can get it back, then you have done meritorious service and will be exempted from being punished. Empress Dowager Huayang said meaningfully. Tu Sui knelt down with a moved expression. I thank the Queen Mother Huayang for her great kindness. I will personally pursue the pursuit and never let the bandits escape. Said, Tu Sui immediately stood up and walked out of the palace. Zhao Ji. At this point, you still want to harm the fate of our country, Great Qin. It's really not a pity to die. If I hadn't been worried about Zheng, I should have sent you to death in the first place. Queen Mother Huayang was angry, as the grandmother of the current King Ying Zheng, as the former Queen Mother of the King of Qin. There is no doubt about it, the Queen Mother Huayang is a smart person, and she is also a person who holds power. The reason why she stayed in Yongqing was that the fetters in her heart were gone, and she also wanted to do something for her grandson, to keep an eye on Zhao Ji. Outside Yongqing, a hidden place in the woods. Grown-ups. Mission accomplished. The Queen Mother Qin has been successfully captured. The leader of the elite Zhao, named Wang Wei, reported to Guokai. Subsequently, he directly lifted up Zhao Ji who fell into coma. Guokai took a look with the candle lantern. Under the faint candlelight, Zhao Ji's beautiful face was visible. As expected of the Empress Dowager Zhao Ji of Qin, who is still alive with a beautiful reputation. She looks really good like this. When we are captured and brought back to Han, the king will be very happy. You and the others are all doing great work. Guokai looked at it and said with a big smile, the task was completed so easily, and the dignified Queen Mother of Qin was captured like this. Guokai was also very happy. As long as Zhao Ji is brought back to Han, it will be a great achievement, and the king will favor him even more. Prime Minister. Now we are still in Yongqing, still in Qin, thousands of miles away from our great Zhao. It will be very difficult to take Zhao Ji away. Commander Wang Wei said solemnly. Rest assured. The truth is that everything has been arranged. The 500 King's Guards are divided into 5 routes, 4 for the lead and 1 for the main. As for the main route, it will be led by Ben Xiang himself. Moreover, we will not take the land route, but the water route, passing through the Weishui River and the Luoshui River, and then enter the Wei dynasty country, and then return to Zhao State by land. Guokai stroked his beard and said proudly, in order to kidnap Zhao Ji, Guokai has been thinking hard for several months. He is a person who cherishes his life very much. He is not good at other things, but he is very good at escaping. I will obey the Prime Minister's order. Commander Wang Wei responded immediately. Ying Zheng. He. As the king said, you were stepped on by us once, and you are the same now. Guokai sneered, very proud, outside Xianyang City. Get out of the way quickly. Urgent report from Yongqing. A fast horse galloped towards the palace, Qin Palace, Chowi Hall. What? The Queen Mother was kidnapped from Yongqing Palace? You haven't gotten it back yet. What does the commander of the Yongqing Imperial Guard do for food? Asshole. Ying Zheng roared angrily. Ever since he took office, Ying Zheng has never shown his joy or anger on his face, and his voice has not been happy, but today he couldn't help it. After so many years, Ying Zheng does have hatred for Zhao Ji, but how can he forget the love between mother and son in the past? Now in the territory he controls, in another capital of Daqin, his mother has been directly robbed. What a slap in the face is this? May your majesty be happy and angry. This time the Queen Mother Huayang has sent a letter. The thieves have an internal agent in the Yongqing Palace. They found out the change of guards in the Yongqing Palace and entered with an internal agent. Moreover, these gangsters are not civilians, but trained elites. According to the report from the commander of Yongqing, tokens were found on these people. They seem to be the most elite secret warriors of Zhao State, Wang Wei. Wei Liao immediately stood up and reported. Zhao Kingdom, Wang Wei. Zhao Yan, good, what a good method. Ying Zheng's face was filled with gloom and thunderous rage. No matter where he comes from, no matter who he is, let them never go back. As for Gu's mother and queen, she must not leave the country. If the thief is allowed to succeed, he will be severely punished and will never be tolerated. Ying Zheng shouted coldly, wait until the court meeting has dispersed. Ying Zheng returned to Zhangtai Palace alone. After such a big thing happened, Dun Rui was already waiting in the palace. Why didn't Haibingtai receive any news about such a big matter? Ying Zheng asked, suppressing his anger. Return to the king. The Zhao Guowei is also like the Black Ice platform. It is a secret force directly under the king of Zhao and is directly under the orders of the king of Zhao. The king of Zhao did not issue orders in the court for this action, so the Black Ice platform did not detect it. Dun Ruo replied respectfully, although the Black Ice platform has penetrated the world, it is impossible to completely penetrate the hidden organizations of various countries. Those hidden organizations are selected and trained from a young age. They are all dead soldiers and cannot be infiltrated. The Black Ice platform will hunt them down with all its strength. None of these Zhao Guowei will be spared. My great Qin Queen Mother must not be at fault. Ying Zheng did not blame Dun Ruo, but gave a direct order. Dun Ruo bowed, I accept the order. Then he immediately retreated. Zhao Yan. What a good trick. How dare you sneak into my great Qin to rob my mother? I was careless after all. If I had strengthened the defense of Yongqing and paid more attention to her, perhaps this would not have happened. I should have listened to my father-in-law that day. Ying Zheng sighed, with a look of regret on his face. If he had listened to Xia Wuqi and went to see Zhao Ji, or brought Zhao Ji back to Xianyang, then this robbery would not have happened at all. Of course, Ying Zheng was still looking at the future of Great Qin. If Zhao Yan really succeeded, he would be controlled. If the Queen Mother of Qin was captured and taken to another country, not only would Great Qin lose its national status, but the world would also regard it as a laughing stock. If Zhao State held Zhao Ji in front of the battle one day, would the Qin elite attack or not? This matter, it's too big, the territory of Weiqing. The hidden training place of the forces created by Zhao Feng, the ghost miasma forest. Kill, a low shout, one by one, boys and girls in the same black clothes attacked each other with swords. All kinds of fighting methods and tricky assassination methods were displayed in front of Zhao Feng. 3 months ago, these boys and girls were still immature and didn't know much, but after 3 months, their temperament had changed a lot, and there were only 278 people left from the original 300. The missing 22 people were obviously gone. Not bad. Han Xuan. You really surprised me after only 3 months of training. Looking at the fighting methods of these dead men, and the changes in their temperament from inside to outside, Zhao Feng praised Han Xuan who trained them. Thank you for your praise, my lord. Give me more time, and they can become stronger. Han Xuan replied respectfully. I'll give you more time, but from now on, these people are still too few. Han Shi. How has the recruitment been in the past 3 months? Zhao Feng looked at Han Shi again. Reply to the master. There are 500 recruited warriors in another place in Weiqing. Like these people, they are no older than 11 years old and have already started training. Han Shi replied immediately. Continue recruiting. Zhao Feng nodded and continued. Master. There is no problem with the people, but the money is too much. In just 3 months, nearly 40% of the gold and silver left by the master has been used. P.S. Please recommend, please vote, please support, thank you.